Beginning with a gentle golden wind and light rain, the master of ceremonies, with a single stroke, surprises the world. This video is purely for entertainment, and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting, and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 676, The Second Dragon Head, a man no one fears. In a courtyard not far from the Jinling Lake, a lush tree in the middle of the courtyard makes the courtyard look quiet. Yuan Suan walked in from outside the courtyard and quickly came to the living room. My lord, Brahma has arrived in Jinling, in the black market. Yuan Suan's face showed excitement. Have you arrived? Xiao Siwu, you notify Wei Zuang, and go together to meet the leader of Wusheng. Su Chen's tone was calm, but there was also a fierce killing intent in the calmness. Su Chen would not give the other party a third chance to attack. Yes. In the living room, Xiao Siwu, who was dressed in white, took the order and turned to leave the courtyard. How is the investigation of the Zuang family? Su Chen asked again. Miss Zuang is not an ordinary person. She found out that Zuang Mingfen was pretended by her second uncle Zuang Mingsheng, and eliminated the people arranged by Zuang Mingsheng in the bank with thundering means. According to the investigation of my subordinates, the force behind Zuang Mingsheng is called Dead Man's Tomb. Yuan Suan said. Dead Man's Tomb? Su Chen frowned slightly. This force is a very old force. It was when Emperor Zhao was fighting for the throne. Dead Man's Tomb was also famous in the martial arts world, but was finally suppressed by Emperor Zhao and disappeared. I didn't expect it to appear at this time. These forces that were suppressed in the past have appeared. It seems that the martial arts world of the Great Zhao will be in chaos. Su Chen said in a deep voice. If there is no chaos, these forces will definitely not raise their heads. Is it because of the full moon on the 15th day? Su Chen seemed to have thought of something. No matter what force they are, those who try to swallow my gold notes will only die. After killing Wusheng, by the way, get rid of this Zuang Mingsheng and the related personnel. Count it as my help to Zuang Zuangji. Su Chen said. Yes. Yuan Suan nodded. It's time for us to set off too. Wusheng Li Fan Shai and me, you don't want to kill me. I come to you. I don't know if you can kill me. After saying that, he stood up and prepared to step out of the courtyard with Yuan Suan. At the gate of the courtyard, Zuang Zuangji was standing outside the courtyard, wearing a white long skirt. In the middle of the skirt, there was a long belt embroidered with gold thread, outlining her slender waist. Her palm fell on the door of the courtyard, as if she wanted to push it, but she was hesitant. Creak. At this moment, the door of the courtyard opened, and Su Chen and Yuan Suan walked out. Seeing Zuang Zuangji standing at the door, his expression did not change. Greetings, young Master Su. Zuang Zuangji bowed slightly. She exuded the gentleness of a Jiangnan woman. She put on some light makeup on her face, which made people admire her very much. Seeing Zuang Zuangji appear, Su Chen said, I just happened to be going to the black market. Miss Zuang, come with me. If you have something to say, we can talk in the carriage. While he was speaking, a figure wearing a bamboo hat was driving a carriage to the gate of the courtyard. The figure was carrying two long swords on his back. It was Hei Bei Zuanjian. Yes. Zuang Zuangji nodded. The two stepped into the carriage. Yuan Suan sat in front of the carriage with Hei Bei Zuanjian, and did not enter the carriage. Inside the carriage, Zuang Zuangji sat in front of Su Chen, hesitant on her face. She didn't know whether she should say what was in her heart or not. I already know about the Zuang family's affairs. The name behind Zuang Mingsheng is Dead Man's Tomb. Seeing this, Su Chen spoke. The Tomb of the Dead. Hearing Su Chen say the Tomb of the Dead, Zuang Zuangji's expression changed, and then a bitter smile appeared on his face. The Tomb of the Dead, although it has no reputation in the world now, but when it appeared in the past, there were mountains of corpses, otherwise it would not be called the Tomb of the Dead. Tomb, a tall and large tomb. The place where the dead are buried. I didn't expect that young dragon chief Su already had so much information. I originally wanted to use the Zuangjia bank as a reward and ask young dragon chief to help me get revenge. I didn't expect it to be the Tomb of the Dead, one of the forces suppressed by Emperor Zhao in the past. They dare to come out now. They must be extremely powerful. There was a hint of loneliness in Zhuang's voice. Okay, give me the Zhuangjia bank, and I can help you get revenge, Su Chen said. Zhuang Mengsheng was interested in his gold notes, and Su Chen had to get rid of such a person. Once the other party was dealt with, he would inevitably have grievances with the Tomb of the Dead. So in this case, Zhuangji took out the Zhuangjia bank as a reward, and Su Chen had no reason to refuse. Hearing this, the lonely Zhuangji looked at Su Chen with some surprise. If you work for me, you are my man. The Zhuangjia bank is also the third largest bank in the world, and the beauty bank is all mine. It's just the Tomb of the Dead. You don't need to care about it. There are talented people in every generation, and each of them has been leading the trend for hundreds of years. Even if the suppressed forces raise their heads, they can only be suppressed. Su Chen's tone was calm, but it revealed an invisible domineering aura. Opposite him, Zhuangji looked at the domineering aura revealed in Su Chen's calm tone, her beautiful eyes flickering, and she recalled what Su Chen had just said. The beauty bank was obtained by him. A blush appeared on her face. She quickly stabilized her mind and thanked Su Chen. Thank you, young Master Su. After today, I will transfer all the deeds of the bank to young Master, but young Master, this Tomb of the Dead has disappeared for 40 years. Now it dares to reappear. It must be that its strength has been restored. Young Master, do you want to discuss this matter with the dragon head of the Green Dragon Society? Zhuangji knew how powerful the Tomb of the Dead was, so she wanted Su Chen to discuss it with the dragon head of the Green Dragon Society before making a decision. No one in the Green Dragon Society should object to my decision. What's more, I'm not just the young leader of the Green Dragon Society. However, you will know that identity in the future, so you can rest assured. The world is big, but I can't offend anyone. In the Great Zhao Dynasty, there shouldn't be anyone like that. Su Chen spoke in a loud tone, with a sense of confidence in his eyes. Zhuangji, who was opposite him, was extremely surprised, but she was also curious in her joy. Joy was about what Su Chen said, and curiosity was about Su Chen's other identity. After calming down, Zhuangji said, young leader, what are we going to the black market for? She still didn't understand the purpose of Su Chen's going to the black market today. The leader of Wusheng, the 7 absolute god of destruction, Brahmashai and me, came to Jinling City before. I went to settle the score with him about the 2 assassinations of Wusheng against me. I think he will give me a satisfactory answer, Su Chen said in a cold voice. The leader of Wusheng has arrived in Jinling. Hearing Su Chen's words, Zhuangji showed surprise on her face. She didn't expect that Su Chen was going to the black market to seek revenge on the leader of Wusheng. But the 4 of us? Zhuangji looked at Su Chen while speaking. Even if the 4 of them went to find the leader of Wusheng, they might not be able to get in front of him. The 2 dragon heads of Qingdanghu in Jinling will show up, Su Chen said softly. In addition to the 7 dragon heads, which other dragon head is in Jinling City? Is it the 4th dragon head Fu Hongxue? Zhuangji had heard that the 4th dragon head Fu Hongxue appeared in Sucheng, Jiangnan before. No, it's the 2nd dragon head, a man that everyone is afraid of, Su Chen said. Li Zunhun, the little Li flying dagger, is the world's #1 hero. He is the creator of the first decade of Gulongshen language. After he went out to sea and retired, the martial arts world needed to re-rank the strong ones. The emergence of the weapon list ignited the blood of the people in the martial arts world, and everyone practiced martial arts hard, wanting to seize the ranking on the weapon list. In that era, countless martial arts masters challenged Li flying dagger. In 7 years, Li Zunhuan went through more than 300 battles, undefeated, and struck 76 times, never missing a target. Li's magic sword is the best in the world, and he never misses a target when he strikes. Such a record makes everyone afraid of his flying knife. Chapter 677, Wusheng, Stronghold, blocking the door and killing people. A man that no one is not afraid of, the 2nd dragon head. Hearing Su Chen say this, Zhuangji's face was slightly shocked. A man that no one is not afraid of. This comes from Su Chen's mouth. How terrible this second dragon head is. Could it be a man with a hideous face, fierce and cruel? Thinking of this, I was terrified. Su Chen looked at her and didn't explain. He knew that the girl in front of him was overthinking. Li Zunhuan is a man of extraordinary charm and a man that women are attracted to. The carriage continued to move forward. Soon it appeared at the entrance of a black market. The entrance to the black market is in Jinling City, and there are entrances outside the city. People who enter openly are different from those who enter secretly. The carriage passes through the entrance of the black market and enters the black market. Su Chen's carriage entered the black market. Many people knew it at the first time. Nangang family. Father, Su Chen went to the black market. Could it be that Brahma of washing was destroyed in the black market? Nangang Kirshu and Nangang Yiren walked into Nangang Wentian's room. It should be Fan Xianmi, but Su Chen went to the black market so openly at this time. He was going to the base of washing. Did he find the trace of Fan Xianmi? Nangang Wentian said in a deep voice. He just let Nangang Kirshu reveal that washing Fan Xianmi arrived in Jinling City in the past 2 days, but he didn't know where Fan Xianmi was. Now if Su Chen knew it, then the spy of King Langhu in Jinling City might not be ordinary. I and Yiren will go to the black market to see what this young Master Su wants to do, Nangang Kirshu said. Nangang Wentian nodded. No matter what happens, you just watch and don't show up, Nangang Wentian warned. Don't worry, father. Nangang Kirshu and Nangang Yiren finished talking and turned to leave the room. You go and follow the young lady and the others. If they make a move, stop them, Nangang Wentian said. Yes. A black shadow flashed out from the dark. At this moment, it was not only the Nangang family who was paying attention. Many noble families in Jinling City have received the news. Su Chen was just assassinated last night, and he went to the black market today. In addition, many of the washing were killed again in the Jinling City base overnight last night. It can be seen that Su Xiaolong, the leader of the King Langhu, will not go to the black market for no reason. At this time, in the black market, there is a base of washing. Song Yuchen and the housekeeper were led by the swordsman into a small building. The small building was brightly lit. A man wearing brocade clothes and a mask was standing in the hall. The hall was very large. There were dozens of black-clothed men with their faces covered, especially 3 people standing behind the masked man. These 3 people did not have masks on their faces, but they exuded a terrifying aura. When Song Yuchen and the housekeeper entered the hall, they looked at Song Yuchen. When Song Yuchen saw the 3 people, he trembled all over. The 3 people were the most famous 3 killing ghosts among Washing. There is such a saying in the Jiangnan area. Washing 3 killing ghosts. Seeing them is like seeing a ghost. People who see a ghost, there is no chance of survival. Greetings, leader. Song Yuchen and the housekeeper hurriedly bowed to the masked man. Song Yuchen, Jinling City is handed over to you, and you manage it like this. In just a few days, we Washing have suffered such losses in Jinling City. Shouldn't you give me an explanation? The masked man said in a cold tone. Leader, I was fooled by the Qinglang Society. That young dragon leader is completely a bait thrown by the Qinglang Society. The other party is to lure us to make a move, so that we Washing will suffer losses and hit our Washing momentum, so that they can gain a foothold in Jiangnan. This is completely a trick of the Qinglang Society. The stronghold in Jinling City should be the information they bought in the black market black building. Song Yuchen knelt down and said, with cold sweat on his forehead. The Green Dragon Society wants to establish itself in Jiangnan. They really have a beautiful dream. This time I came here in person just for them. Tonight, kill Su Chen first, and then find the Green Dragon Society's 7 dragon leader Wei Zhuang. The masked man said coldly, with endless killing intent in his tone. He originally wanted to kill Su Chen to enhance the reputation of their Washing and make them the first killer organization in the Jiangnan region. But he didn't expect that Washing suffered heavy losses and its momentum was it. It felt like stealing a chicken, but losing a rice. If the leader takes action personally, Su Chen will definitely not survive tonight. Song Yuchen said hurriedly. Waste. Seeing this, the masked man said coldly. At this time, a man in black rushed in. Leader. The young dragon leader of the Green Dragon Society, Su Chen, has entered the black market and is coming this way. The man in black reported. You said that the young dragon leader of the Green Dragon Society, Chen, is coming towards us. The masked man asked in a cold voice. Yes, judging from the direction they are heading towards us. The man in black replied. Chief, it seems that the news of our coming to Jinling has leaked out. The other party also knows that you are here. Chief, it's just right. Let's go and kill him. Behind him, one of the 3 killers spoke. How many of them are there? The masked Fan Xianmi spoke. There are 4 people, Su Chen, Zhuang Zhuangji, Yuan Suan, and a swordsman with 2 swords on his back. The man replied quickly. 4 people rushed to my Wusheng base. Could this young dragon leader come to die? Seeing this, one of the 3 ghosts who spoke earlier spoke. Chief, the swordsman with 2 swords on his back is very strong, and he may have the strength of the Topsy of concentration. Song Yuchen hurriedly said, when he saw this. It was the double-edged swordsman who killed Xian Di'ersha with 1 blow last night. Hearing this, a cold light shot out from Fan Xianmi's eyes. You said that man has the strength of the Topsy concentration. Yes, I saw it myself last night. He killed the 2 killers of heaven and earth with 1 strike. Song Yuchen said. Is that so? Then let's try the quality of the other party first, or in other words, are there any other people? Fan Xianmi said coldly. You go and kill Su Chen. He said to the dozens of masked men in black in the hall. Song Yuchen, you go with me. Fan Xianmi looked at Song Yuchen who was standing aside and said. Yes. Let's go and take Su Chen's head. Song Yuchen had a strong killing intention towards Su Chen. If it wasn't for Su Chen, he wouldn't have lost his position in front of the leader like this. Dozens of people in the hall quickly followed Song Yuchen and walked out of the small building. However, when these dozens of people walked out of the small building with Song Yuchen, a young man in white clothes was standing outside the door of the small building with slender fingers and his eyes not looking at them. Between his slender fingers were 5 flying knives that flashed cold light in the faint darkness. Swish. The 5 flying knives flew out at a very fast speed. The 5 men in black behind Song Yuchen instantly had 5 flying knives in their throats. They were pierced through the throats by the flying knives. Qinglang Society Xiao Siwu, please go on your way. Xiao Siwu's voice was very calm, but with his attack just now, a chill flowed in the air. Chapter 678, Overwhelming and Fierce. Xiao Siwu was actually blocking the door and killing people at the door of Wusheng. Song Yuchen's face became furious. This was a complete slap in the face of Wusheng. The surroundings seemed very quiet, but many people appeared. These people looked at Xiao Siwu with horror. Xiao Siwu of Qinglang who was really fierce. He blocked the door of Wusheng and killed people. He didn't take Wusheng seriously at all. Of course, there were some people who gloated over the misfortune. These people had grudges against Wusheng, or had conflicts of interest. They were happy to see Wusheng being slapped in the face. Kill, I'll kill him. Song Yuchen shouted to the dozens of people behind him. At the same time, dozens of people behind him went towards Xiao Siwu. Xiao Siwu's expression did not change. 10 flying knives appeared in his hands. Swish, 10 flying knives flew out instantly at an extremely fast speed. 10 of those black-clothed people who rushed over fell in the blink of an eye. But after this blow, a man in black accelerated his figure and appeared in front of Xiao Siwu in the blink of an eye. He stretched out his hand and wanted to attack Xiao Siwu with a hidden weapon. A blade flashed in the black light. Swish. The man in black who wanted to attack was cut in half by a knife and blood spurted. Kill. Then the man in black rushed towards dozens of people. Swish. 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 The knife flashed and a body was cut in half by the knife. In the blink of an eye, dozens of people who attacked were all killed by the man in black. Blood filled the entire Wusheng stronghold. What a fast knife flight. This kind of extremely fast knife is for killing. I didn't expect that the Qinglang Society would have such a strong sword master. Some people looked at Yajiu Tajima who had already inserted the long knife into the scabbard. At this time, Yajiu Tajima was wrapped in a black robe. Only his eyes were exposed, but the killing intent emanating from his body was extremely sharp. You go deal with Xiao Siwu. I'll kill this guy. For a moment, only Song Yuchen and his housekeeper were left in the field. At this moment, Song Yuchen could only take action. A fierce aura burst out from his body. As one of the 9 hall masters of Xianshang, he was in charge of such an important city as Jinling and Jiangnan. His strength was in the sea of Danshan. A trace of strange black aura appeared in his palm. Song Yuchen practiced a very sinister technique called Yun Kui hand. The black energy flowed in his palm, vaguely forming a black skull shape. Looking at the black skull in Song Yuchen's palm, Yajiu Tajima no Mori held the hilt of the knife with his right hand, turned his body, and went towards the opponent. Die. Looking at Yajiu Tajima no Mori coming towards him, Song Yuchen's face was ferocious, and his palm slapped out, and the black true energy turned into a vengeful spirit, and went towards Yajiu Tajima no Mori. Cut. Yajiu Tajima no Mori, the long sword in his hand just cut out. The sharp knife energy burst out. With a slash of the sword, the attacking key was cut off. Explode. Just when the key was cut off, Song Yuchen shouted, and the key in his palm burst directly, and a black light rushed out from it, heading towards Yajiu Tajima no Mori. The black light was fast, but Yajiu Tajima no Mori's sword was faster. Clang. The long sword collided with the black light, making a sound of metal collision. It was a black short thorn. The sword light was colorless and dim. It was Song Yuchen who attacked. When the key surged just now, he appeared from his sleeves and stabbed with a sword. The palm strike just now was completely for this stab, but he underestimated Yajiu Tajima no Mori. The short thorn was blocked. Yajiu Tajima no Mori continued to slash with the long sword in his hand, and the slashing speed was extremely fast. Song Yuchen failed to hit the target with one strike, and his body retreated at a very fast speed, but he did not expect Yajiu Tajima no Mori to be faster. He was killed by Yajiu Tajima no Mori with one sword. Yajiu Tajima no Mori was a warrior who was about to gather divine power. There was still a big gap between Song Yuchen and him. As for the housekeeper who rushed towards Xiao Siwu, when Song Yuchen was killed, a flying knife appeared at his throat. He was pierced through the throat by Xiao Siwu and died. For a moment, the area in front of Washan's stronghold became extremely quiet. That's it. The Qinglang Society only sent 2 people. I just don't know if there is anyone else in the Washan stronghold. Some people secretly said, I don't know. The one who was just killed was Song Yuchen, the 9 hall masters of Washing, who was in charge of Jinling City. He was killed. Could it be that Washing still has someone else? Washing lost face this time. They were blocked at the door and killed. If there is no one, if this matter gets out, Washing may fall out of the 3 major organizations. I just didn't expect the people of Qinglang Society to be so cruel. One has a sharp flying knife, and the other has a fierce knife technique. There is no extra money in killing people. This is a knife for killing people. It seems that, if there is anything in the future, we can ask Qinglang Society to take action. Some people thought to themselves, the Qinglang Society is very strong. It is said that they have 2 swordsmen in the capital, and another swordsman appeared in Lingjiang area. The 3 sword masters are very powerful and their swordsmanship is extremely sharp. One person said in a low voice. In addition to these 3 people, there is also Li Chenzhao, the 3rd dragon leader of the Qinglang Society, who overwhelmed Chen Dingong and defeated him to flee to the 9 northern counties. Some people say that, if it were not for the Qinglang Society's concern for the court, Chen Dingong would not be able to escape. When the Qinglang Society was mentioned, some people began to talk about it. After all, the Qinglang Society's current record is really strong. Perhaps except for the Xian'an Pavilion that appeared at the same time as the Qinglang Society, no one can compare with the Qinglang Society in terms of momentum. For a while, in the black market, people watching the battle talked a lot. Of course, they were just some ordinary black market warriors. Some people with sharp eyes looked closely at the base of Washing. The Qinglang Society blocked the door and killed. I'm afraid that there is more than just Song Yuchen in the Washing stronghold, to be honest. Although Song Yuchen has some strength, it is not worth the Qinglang Society's efforts. The Qinglang Society's young leader Su Chen is on the way. He hasn't arrived yet. The real killing should not be over yet. While everyone was waiting, a carriage slowly appeared. It was heading towards the Washing stronghold little by little. The driver wore a black cloak and carried 2 swords on his back. Next to him was Yuan Suan in white. Is that young man Su Chen? Some people who had never seen Su Chen asked. That's Su Chen's butler Yuan Suan. It is said that Yuan Suan is a gentleman with extraordinary bearing. I didn't expect that such a person is actually Su Chen's butler. What kind of person is this Su Chen? I don't see anything extraordinary about him, but he is very violent. Someone saw Su Chen take action last night, so someone said, the young dragon leader of the Qinglang Society is here. The leader of Washing, Fin Xianmi, please come out to see the young dragon leader of the Qinglang Society. The carriage stopped at the entrance of the stronghold. Yuan Suan stood up, and Lang Sheng said, it was not Su Chen who spoke, but Yuan Suan, with a tone of contempt in his voice. Chapter 679, Yuan Suan is strong, the #1 killer of the 36, and he also died. Too arrogant, actually let the leader of Wushang come to see Su Chen. Seeing this, some people showed shock in their eyes. I didn't expect that the leader of Wushang, Fan Xianmi, would actually come, and he was still in the base. This time, King Lang Hu blocked the door and killed people just for Fan Xianmi. Now there will be a good show to watch. Being called at the door like this, Fan Xianmi's face will probably turn green. Some people looked at this scene, and their eyes suddenly revealed excitement. If Fan Xianmi was called at the door like this, and didn't kill people, Wushang would not have to appear in Jiangnan in the future. It was too embarrassing. I'm afraid that after this matter spreads, no one will look for Wushang to kill people. Of course, the people who look for them will be of lower grade. People with status do things with status. Wushang's reputation is lost, and it is gone. If it wants to come back. Boom, at this time, a figure appeared in the crowd and went towards Yuan Suan. The speed was extremely fast. It was unclear whether Su Chen was in the carriage, so if he killed Yuan Suan who was shouting, he could also reduce the momentum of the Qinglang Society. Boom. Just when he made his move, a masked figure appeared in front of him. Golden Buddha is indestructible. The person who appeared was Ban Xianyu. Without any defense, he directly blocked the opponent's attack with his body. Clang. The long sword stabbed the opponent's body and was blocked by a force of energy. The sword was blocked, and Ban Xianyu stretched out his palm and grabbed it, and his palm quickly grabbed the opponent's head. Crack. The head was crushed like a watermelon. At the moment when he crushed the head, at the same time, several figures rushed out and surrounded Su Chen's carriage. On the carriage, Yuan Suan's eyes flashed with cold light, and his body turned, appearing in front of a person at an extremely strange speed. The long sword in his palm stretched out, turned into a sword, and cut a person's throat. Then the body spun at an incredible speed and came out, beheading the other black-clothed men who attacked. The bodies fell around the carriage. Blood gushed out, and the ground was instantly stained with blood. The bloody smell permeated the air. The black market itself was underground, and the air circulation was slow. So many people died at once. How could the bloody smell not permeate? Falling on the ground, a violent energy appeared on Yuan Suan's body. He raised the long sword in his hand, and her energy enveloped his long sword. What does he want to do? Do I need to think about what he wants to do? He must want to chop the small building with his sword. Stronghold inside the building. Fen Xianmi, who was wearing a mask, showed ferocious eyes, and energy flowed in his palms. Go, kill him for me. Fen Xianmi's voice was low and terrible. Leader, I'll kill him. At this time, a man in a green shirt walked out of the dark. The man looked calm and elegant in a green shirt. The breath on his body was restrained, but his eyes revealed absolute confidence. Tang Qingshan, the only one with a name among the 36 assassins of Xianshang, is also the #1 among the 36 top assassins. Okay. Fin Xianmi nodded. He couldn't show up at this moment. If he showed up now, he would be completely at a disadvantage. He had to kill one person before he could show up. At this moment, Yuan Suan gathered the sword energy in his hand and slashed it out with a sword. The terrifying sword energy went towards the small building of the stronghold. Boom. When the sword energy was about to hit the small building of the stronghold, a golden fist energy appeared from the stronghold and collided with the terrifying sword energy. The two forces collided, bursting out amazing power fluctuations, and the raging energy went all around. As the energy dissipated, a green figure walked out of the stronghold. It was Tang Qingshan who came out of the building. Yuan Suan looked at the figure walking out, his eyes slightly condensed. The other party's first energy burst out to block his sword. The person coming was not simple. Tang Qingshan, the number one existence among the 36 top assassins of Wusheng. Looking at that figure, some people showed surprise on their faces. Tang Qingshan of Wusheng, the first among the 36, is different from others in killing people. He always kills people head on, and has never missed. People in the black market are very familiar with Tang Qingshan. Tang Qingshan is actually inside. It seems that Fin Xianmi is really inside. Nangang Qiashi said in one place. Sister, who do you think will win? Tang Qingshan's strength, although his danshan has turned into the sea, is close to concentrating his mind in the sea, not to mention that he has 3 unique skills, sword unique, fist unique, and body unique. Although Tang Qingshan's attack method is unusual, Yuan Suan did not stop and stepped on the ground. A sword was slashed out, and the sword energy rushed down from the sky. It was not one sword, but several swords. The sword energy tore through the air and was down one after another. Seeing the sword energy rushing, Tang Qingshan's face changed. Lian Suan's continuous sword attacks seemed to be one sword at a time, but these sword energies were quickly connected together, increasing the power of the sword energy and affecting his movement speed. In this case, Tang Qingshan could only attack, and he grabbed his palm behind his back, and a long sword appeared in front of him. The long sword slashed out, and a dazzling sword light appeared. The sword light was sharp, and it collided with the long sword, and Tang Qingshan was shocked, and took a step back. What a sharp sword, but you are just that. The knife in Tang Qingshan's hand fell at an equally fast speed. When the knife light was fast, his body speed also increased, and he appeared in front of Yuan Suan in the blink of an eye. Yuan Suan's expression did not change. When the knife light fell, his body turned, and while turning, he actually broke through the opponent's knife blockade and appeared in front of Tang Qingshan. The sword in his hand flashed, and in the blink of an eye, a sword light enveloped the opponent. Tang Qingshan's face condensed when he made a move. As soon as he made a move, the airflow around the knife energy had a feeling of suppressing Yuan Suan's movement. But Yuan Suan turned his body, and he shook off the airflow and slashed with a sword. The sword light was equally sharp. He's counterattacked. He must be suppressed. Seeing Yuan Suan evade his sword so quickly, Tang Qingshan's face changed, and he slashed out with the long sword in his hand to block the sword. The sword light collided with the sword energy. This time Tang Qingshan retreated 3 steps, and Yuan Suan retreated 1 step. Seeing this, Tang Qingshan showed a cruel smile on the corner of his mouth, and his figure was like a ghost, and he came to Yuan Suan at a very fast speed, and the long sword in his hand slashed out instantly. He was already below, so he made a full effort, and used his body skills, to take the initiative in his own hands. The long sword slashed out, and the violent sword energy made the surrounding air emit a huge force that could not bear the load. Boom. The sword light exploded like thunder. In order to affect Yuan Suan's move, how could Yuan Suan not understand the other party's plan? His mood was unusually calm, and his left hand was raised. The flowing cloud sleeves came out in an instant, wrapped around the attacking long sword, and his figure took a step, appeared in front of the opponent. Howling, the long sword in his hand slashed out instantly, and the sword slashed out, and the sword light attacked Tang Qingshan with the sound of wind and thunder. Tang Qingshan threw a punch. His fist went towards the sword light, but suddenly Yuan Suan turned into a shadow and disappeared in front of Tang Qingshan. Tang Qingshan's punch missed. When he turned back, a sword light instantly came out and pierced Tang Qingshan's throat. Wusheng ranked first among the 36 killers. He died as well. Chapter 680, Wusheng, 3 Ghosts. When Zhuang appears, Zhuan Jian strikes. The scene was silent. Crush. Qinglong Society, now suppressed. Wusheng, with a completely crushing momentum. Wusheng has no more powerful masters, so their momentum will definitely fall sharply today. If there are more masters, I'm afraid they will all be strong people with the sea concentration spirit. Those people are the foundation of Wusheng. In recent years, Wusheng has produced 36 top killers in order to be younger. Now the top one has been killed. It seems that this plan is over. Some people said gloatingly. Sister, King Lang Society is stronger than we thought. Nangang Yiren looked at Yuan Suan holding a long sword and said, the winner is not yet decided. Washing SC concentration spirit is about to take action. Only by defeating Washing SC concentration spirit can King Lang Society truly suppress Washing. Nangang Kieshi said in a deep voice. Although King Lang Society is in control of the situation now, Washing is not that simple. His eyes fell on the carriage where Su Chen was. If I were a strong man with concentrated spirit in the Sea of Washing, I would have dealt with you as soon as I attacked. Nangang Kieshu murmured. Washing had a mission for Su Chen, and this incident happened because of this. Now Su Chen appeared at the door of Washing's base. If a strong man with concentrated spirit in the Sea of Washing attacked, he would definitely attack Su Chen. First, he could complete the mission, and second, he could fight back the momentum that was just suppressed by King Lang Hu. This young dragon leader Su is really courageous, but I don't know if he can survive. Nangang Yiren saw her sister's eyes and couldn't help but say, he dared to do this. Maybe he was absolutely sure. Nangang Kieshu replied. Boom. At this moment, 3 figures walked out of the base, 3 ghosts of Washing. Seeing the 3 figures walking out, someone watching the battle exclaimed, divine power, Changshan. Before they finished speaking, one of the figures stepped out, stomped his foot on the ground, and the key energy around him burst out. A mountain-like gravity appeared in this area. Boom, the powerful divine power suppressed the surrounding air and instantly sank. Among the 3 ghosts, Gui Chang made a move. He practiced the Xianzhang mountain technique, and his divine power carried a heavy pressure. In front of the carriage, Yuan Suan, Liu Shengdan Mixiao, and Xiao Siwu all felt a layer of gravity on their bodies, and key energy appeared around them to resist. Divine power, killing sword. A person held a long sword in the air, and the key energy stood in the air, and a sword went towards Su Chen's carriage. Among the 3 ghosts, the ghost sword. Divine power, the golden Buddha is indestructible. Boom, the masked Banshaya shouted, and a golden light appeared around him. His figure broke through the restriction, and appeared in front of Su Chen's carriage. He put his hands together, to block the sword energy. When Banshaya made a move, among the 3 ghosts, the last ghost figure turned into a residual image, and disappeared on the spot. When he appeared again, he was already in front of Banshaya chest. The palm of his hand slapped several times in succession, and it was printed on Banshaya chest. Bang! The palm collided with Banshaya ki, forming a wave of ki, and Banshaya body was knocked back several steps. The person who made the move seized this opportunity, and turned into a residual image again, appearing in front of Su Chen's carriage. Although he had knocked Banshaya back with the previous attack, he knew that his palm did not break the opponent's defense, so he directly attacked the carriage. Their target was Su Chen. Just when his body was close to the carriage, suddenly, a figure appeared, with white hair flying, and a long sword in his hand slashed out. The speed was so fast. The palm power of the ghost's palm burst out, colliding with the sword energy. Bang! The key energy collided. The 2 people staggered. At the moment of staggering, the person who drew the sword kicked the ground with his foot, and his body shot out violently. The sword-toothed long sword in his hand drew a sharp trajectory, and the sword energy burst out. The ghost who attacked felt the sharpness of the sword energy and dodged quickly. However, the sword light turned and stabbed horizontally at a very fast speed. Swish! A blood mark appeared in front of the ghost who attacked. His body retreated violently. He looked at the person who appeared with a sinister look. Just now, with his speed, he did not dodge the opponent's sword, and was cut on the chest by the opponent's sword, leaving a very shallow blood mark. Who are you? The ghost wanted to know who attacked. I'm Wei Zhuang, the 7 Dragon leader of King Lang Society. Wei Zhuang said. 7 Dragon leader Wei Zhuang. This person is the 7 Dragon leader of King Lang Society. Judging from his attack, this Wei Zhuang is a C-concentrated strongman. Some people were surprised when they heard Wei Zhuang's introduction. Among the 3 ghosts of Washing, the ghost was the one with the longest speed. He was very fast, but just now the opponent's sword left a sword mark on the ghost's body, which shows that Wei Zhuang's sword speed is also very fast. You are Wei Zhuang, the leader of the 7 dragons of the King Lang Society. I thought you were just sending a young boy here. The ghost looked at Wei Zhuang and said coldly, "You die." Just as he finished speaking, on the carriage, Black and White Zuan suddenly made a cold voice. Before he finished speaking, Black and White Zuan had already rushed down from the carriage. The two long swords on his back were already in his left and right hands, and the two swords slashed at the ghost at the same time. The ghost was shocked. He didn't expect that he just said a word and Black and White Zuan would attack him. Divine power, phantom. He knew the record of Black and White Zuan. He killed the two killers of heaven and earth with one blow. His strength was the top C concentration strongman. He was facing him head on and couldn't block the opponent's attack at all, so he could only use his speed advantage to get rid of the opponent. Divine power, sky curtain. Black and White Zuan shouted, and a terrifying dark energy formed a black curtain, covering the surrounding space. Under this dark curtain, the ghost felt that his speed seemed to be restricted. His divine power was suppressed by the opponent. And at this moment, the two blades of Hebei Zuan appeared in front of him. The long sword in his hand instantly chopped down. The ghost appeared. He slapped his palms quickly, and the terrifying energy burst out from his palms. But Hebei Zuan turned his body, and the long sword in his hand changed his slashing posture. In an instant, he turned his sword blade downward, stepped on the ground, and slashed down with the two swords in his hands. The sword light flowed, and the blood light burst. Two blood marks piercing the chest appeared on the ghost's body instantly. Ah! A piercing scream broke out, and the ghost's body quickly retreated, and fell to the side, covered in blood. You! He glanced at the sword mark on his chest, and then looked at Hebei Zuan, wanting to say something. Insult the young dragon, you die. The cold voice of Hebei Zuan sounded. Bang! As he finished speaking, the two sword marks on the ghost's body suddenly burst, and the sword energy rushed into the other party's body. Plop! The ghost's body fell directly to the ground. He raised his head, and looked at Hebei Zuan with unwilling eyes. One of the three ghosts, the ghost, was killed with one blow. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 681, Three Ghosts Fall, Washing, Third, Shadow, Third Brother. Seeing this, the other two of the three ghosts changed their expressions. Among them, Gui Zhang stepped on the ground, and the huge force made the ground shake. His body rushed towards Zuan. He wanted to kill Zuan to avenge the ghost. Zuan killed the opponent with one blow, retracted his long sword, and turned back to the carriage. The atmosphere here is heavy. The horses driving the carriage are just ordinary horses. They will be suppressed by the momentum and thus frightened. He needs to resist these momentums to prevent the horses from being frightened. You. Seeing Zuan turn around, Gui Zhang's face became ferocious. Fist punched out. The fist force was as fierce as a tsunami, making a terrifying thunderous sound, and the surrounding air was all shaken, and a rapid whistling sound was made. Bang! But his fist was blocked by a fist. The two fists collided with each other, making a deafening sound, and then Gui Zhang, who had made a move, was shocked and retreated 3 or 4 steps. His expression changed. The one who stopped him was the masked Banshai. Banshai did not stop, but followed up as fast as lightning, sweeping out with his right leg, and a burst of ki burst out from his leg. Gui Zhang, who had attacked, had just stabilized his body, and had no time to fight back, so he could only cross his arms in front of him. Bang! The powerful force hit his arm, and his body was knocked back again, leaving deep footprints on the ground. Banshai succeeded in one blow, and rushed over, slapping his palms continuously, and the ki flowed, covering the opponent. Roar! The Gui Zhang roared. A heavy pressure appeared around him, which slowed down the speed of Banshai palm. Although it was a little slower, Banshai palm still fell, and landed on one of the opponent's shoulders. Boom! A ki appeared on Gui Zhang's shoulder, to resist the falling palm force. But the ki in Banshai palm was stronger. Bang! The attacked left arm burst instantly, and turned into a ball of blood mist. The strong feeling of pain made Gui Zhang roar, and he punched Ban Xiaonayu with his right arm. Ban Xiaonayu turned around and avoided the opponent's attack. "I want you to die." Gui Zhang rushed towards Ban Xiaonayu with a ferocious pain. The ki in his body was flowing, surging, and his momentum was rising. Ban Xiaonayu's indestructible body of the Golden Buddha was also running, and his momentum was just as terrifying. The two people's momentum collided, and their fists collided, making a rumbling sound. The airwaves generated spread to the surroundings, causing the air to shatter and the ground to tremble. The dust began to fly under the force, covering the area where the two of them attacked, forming a dust storm. The two bodies kept intertwining in this storm. Bang, bang, bang. Die, you die. The strong collision made Gui Zhang's injured arm more painful, and he roared. The speed of the right arm attack was fierce and fast, but Ban Xiaonayu's body was faster. After dodging a blow, he appeared behind the opponent. His feet were in the air, and a kick swept out and hit the opponent's back. Bang! Gui Zhang, who had resisted with his ki, was knocked back out of the dust area by this blow. At the moment of flying back, Ban Xiaonayu's palms became claws and grabbed Gui Zhang's head. Big brother. Seeing this, Gui Zhang, one of the three ghosts, immediately changed his figure and rushed towards Ban Xiaonayu with a sword, wanting to save Gui Zhang. But there was also Wei Zhuang here. He would not let the other party save him as the 7 dragon heads of the Qinglang Society. He kicked the ground with his footsteps, and his body followed the shadow. The shark-tooth sword in his hand attacked instantly. But when Wei Zhuang was moving, suddenly, a terrifying murderous intent appeared in the stronghold. As soon as the murderous intent appeared, dozens of black lights burst out and swept towards Wei Zhuang. There were so many that they covered Wei Zhuang in an instant. Wei Zhuang frowned slightly, and his body suddenly exploded as fast as an afterimage. He swung the long sword in his hand, forming a dazzling sword light, blocking all the dozens of black lights. Bang bang bang. The collision of the sword light and the black light made a crackling sound. After the sound, a figure walked out of the stronghold. The person who walked out had a cold look in his eyes and held a long sword that was completely black in his hand. The sword seemed even darker in this dim space. Washan shadow. How many people did Washan bring? This shadow is the 3rd strongest person in Washan. Swish. When everyone was surprised, the shadow flashed by and attacked Wei Zhuang with the black long sword in his hand like lightning. Wei Zhuang's eyes condensed and his body flashed to avoid the sword. The long sword in his hand came out instantly to block the opponent's counterattack. The two long swords collided. Clang. Boom. With a muffled sound, the sword energy rolled and spread around like a terrifying whale swallowing huge waves. Wei Zhuang, who was holding the shark tooth, felt a terrifying sword energy pouring into his arm from the long sword at the moment of the long sword collision. This sword energy was fierce and overbearing, fiercely attacking the meridians of his arm holding the sword, trying to destroy his arm meridians. The ki force burst out and quickly suppressed the ki force that surged into his body. The long sword was instantly withdrawn, and the body stepped back a few steps, looking at the other party with a serious look. The strength of this person who appeared was extraordinary. On the other side, the ghost sword that went out to rescue Gui Zhang, with a sharp sword technique, went towards Ban Xiaonayu's throat like lightning. The speed was so fast. He wanted to pierce Ban Xiaonayu's throat with a sword before Ban Xiaonayu's palm fell. His sword was fast, and Ban Xiaonayu could only fight back to resist. But he misjudged it. Ban Xiaonayu didn't fight back at all, and his palm was even faster. The body moved forward, avoiding the throat, and let the long sword pierce his body. Ding. The long sword was blocked by the ki force on his body. At this moment, his palm fell on the head of Gui Zhang like lightning. He smashed the opponent's head with a palm. Then he turned his hand and slapped the ghost sword. Damn it. The ghost sword didn't expect that his sword could not break the opponent's defense. He quickly retreated, avoiding Ban Xiaonayu's palm strike, and stabbed out with a long sword in his hand for the 2nd time, and all the ki in his body began to flow and poured into his long sword. He wanted to break the opponent's defense with one blow. The dazzling sword light went towards Ban Xiaonayu. There was a flash of light under Ban Xiaonayu's feet, and his speed suddenly increased. In the blink of an eye, he avoided the sword. He appeared behind the opponent and slapped out a palm and hit the opponent's back. Puff. The ghost sword spit out a mouthful of blood, but his body twisted, and the sword light in his hand surged, and he quickly cut towards Banshayanayu's head. This sword was extremely sharp, using all his strength. The indestructible body of the golden Buddha in Banshayanayu's body was activated, and his palm slapped out, and the terrifying ki collided with the sword light. The two bodies retreated at the same time. However, when retreating, the injured ghost sword spit out blood again. Banshayanayu rushed out, slapped out several palms, and the palm shadow covered the opponent. "I'll kill you while you're sick." Boom. All the palms fell on the opponent's body. Bang. The ghost sword's body was hit and flew backwards. The long sword in his hand fell, and blood kept spurting out of his mouth. There was no power to fight back. Just killed. Banshayanayu's body turned into a residual image, and appeared in front of the opponent, smashing the opponent's head with a palm. All three ghosts were killed at once. Washing. 3 seal level spiritual masters died. Chapter 682. Washing. Brahma destroys. Famous arrow. 3 ghosts, just killed like that. Washing's loss is huge this time. I'm afraid it will fall into the 3 major killer organizations. The shadow hasn't made a move yet, Brahmami hasn't appeared yet, and the 7 dragon heads of the Qinglang Society have appeared. It is rumored that the 7 dragon heads Wei Zhuang is the leader in charge of the Jiangnan area. Now that he has appeared, the fighting power of the Qinglang Society in Jiangnan should be here. If Brahmami takes action and kills these people, will the power of the Qinglang Society in Jiangnan be destroyed? Some people began to discuss. Sister, the fighting power here should be the fighting power of the Qinglang Society in Jiangnan. Although Wei Zhuang's strength is the level of the sea concentration, it is probably not up to the top level of the sea concentration. The strongest among them should be the one driving a car with 2 swords on his back. Nangang Yiren said in a deep voice. It's possible, but I just noticed something that made me very strange. That person attacked because the ghost said the young dragon leader of the Qinglang Society, so that person attacked and killed the opponent with 1 blow. According to reason, the ghost was fighting Wei Zhuang at that time, so that person shouldn't have attacked. You said that Chen, the young dragon leader, is his status higher than Wei Zhuang, the 7 dragon leaders? Nangang Qiushu said. Sister, I really didn't notice it just now. Now I hear you say it. It's true. Chen, the young dragon leader, has an extraordinary status. Isn't the structure of the Qinglang Society rumored to have 7 dragon leaders and 12 hall masters? The 7 dragon leaders should be one of the 7 with the highest status. I'm afraid not. The 2 swordsmen who appeared in the capital are both top sword masters who concentrate their minds in the sea. The strength they show is stronger than this Wei Zhuang. The strength shown by the several dragon leaders of the Qinglang Society is the strongest. Li Chenzhao, whose fists are extremely domineering, and the presence of the other dragon leaders is not very high. Nangang Qiushu said. Inside the carriage, Su Chen's face looked very calm. Opposite him, Zhuangji looked a little nervous. Although she didn't see the battle outside, she could sense the pressure from the surrounding ki and the strong momentum. She could also hear some discussions. Of course, others said that the fighting force of the Qinglang Club in Jiangnan had all arrived, but she knew that there was still a 2nd dragon head. Su Chen said before coming. That was a person who no one was not afraid of. The 3rd dragon head of the Qinglang Club, Li Chenzhao, showed his domineering strength. The 2nd dragon head was stronger than the 3rd dragon head. Then this person's strength was definitely terrifying. The 3rd shadow of Washing has come out. Do you think that Brahma will show up? When the shadow died, Su Chen said softly. The 1st place in Washing must be the leader Brahma, the 2nd is rarely known, and the 3rd is this shadow, who has not appeared for many years. I didn't expect that he would come to Jinling with Brahma this time. At this time, inside the stronghold, Fan Xianmi clenched his palms, and the energy flowed in his palms, forming a wave of air, wanting to destroy everything. After another investigation, we will go out to finish it off. Their forces should all be here, but the strongest should be the driver. There was another person standing next to Fan Xianmi. This person was dressed in black, and had a mask on his face. His voice was hoarse and his real voice could not be distinguished. I didn't expect you to come too. You have been away from Wushang for many years. The energy in Fan Xianmi's palm disappeared, and he said in a deep voice, no matter what, Wushang was established by you and me, and I don't want Wushang's momentum to be suppressed by King Langhu like this. The person said in a deep voice. After a while, I will stop the driver, and you will kill the young dragon leader of King Langhu. This person's status should be higher than that of the 7 dragon leaders Wei Zuan. The man in black said. Okay. Fan Xianmi nodded. Outside the stronghold. At this moment, everyone's eyes were looking at Wei Zuan in shadow. The strength of your King Lang society in Jiangnan is somewhat beyond our expectations. It's really true that a fierce dragon can't cross the river. Shadow looked at Wei Zuan and said in a deep voice, you Washing attacked my King Lang society, Xiao Lang Xiao, and you, Washing, are destined to disappear. Wei Zuan said coldly. Humph, you have the upper hand, but with your little strength, you want to destroy me, Washing. Do you think you can do it? Shadow's eyes became cold and fierce. He raised the black longsword in his hand and slashed towards Wei Zuan. The speed of the sword was not very fast, but the sword energy emanating from the blade was extremely sharp. People watching the battle could feel that their skin was being scratched. His sword was slow, but Wei Zuan's sword was not slow. His body shot violently, and the long sword in his hand turned into a residual shadow, attacking the opponent, and the sword energy was like a wave. The momentum was strong and unstoppable. Boom. The sword in his hand was slow, and Shadow's body shook, and suddenly disappeared in front of Wei Zuan. There was no direct collision with Wei Zuan. Swish. A black light appeared beside Wei Zuan, at an extremely fast speed. Wei Zuan waved his sword to block. Clang. After the first strike, the black sword light instantly thrust out a second sword, and the speed of the second sword thrust out was extremely fast, reaching the extreme. A chill appeared in Wei Zuan's heart. Without turning back, the long sword in his hand suddenly turned and pressed forward. The speed of the sword light was also fast. Bang! The two sword energies collided. A wave of air was formed, spreading in all directions, and then the two bodies approached, and the long swords kept slashing out, and the sword light and sword energy were radiating. For a while, the two figures could not be seen clearly. This time, Wei Zuan did not have the advantage. Looking at this battle, some people spoke. When his voice fell, suddenly, 4 arrows appeared in the Washing stronghold. The arrows were extremely powerful, like meteors, and went towards Su Chen's carriage. Sitting on the carriage, black and white Zuan Zhang's eyes turned cold. His body flew into the air, and the long sword in his hand instantly split the 4 arrows in the air. Then he slashed out with 2 swords at the same time. 2 terrifying sword energies fell towards the stronghold. Boom. At this moment, the small building of the stronghold was instantly shattered by 2 huge sword energies. But then 2 figures walked out. One of them carried a black longbow and quiver on his back, and his face could not be seen clearly because of the mask he wore. The other one also wore a mask, but when he appeared, everyone present knew that he was the leader of Washing Fan Xianmi, the man with the longbow. Could it be the second person of Washing Mingjian? Nangang Yiren looked at the man with the longbow, with a gleam in her eyes. Washing's second person Mingjian is a legend of Washing, not inferior to Washing's leader Fan Xianmi. The two walked out. The scene became extremely quiet. Black and white Zuan Jian fell down. His eyes did not focus on Fan Xianmi, but on the man carrying the longbow Mingjian. The terrifying killing intent on his body permeated. No matter who it was, in his eyes, those who attacked Su Chen would only die. Chapter 683, Feng'an's Sword, a sword to kill the throat. If you want to fight me, then come on. Your divine power is very strong, and I also want to try whether my arrows can kill you. The man with the longbow on his back looked at Hebei Zuanjian and said coldly. As soon as the voice came out, a sharp breath emanated from his body, and the longbow in his hand fell into his hand. 3 arrows were instantly drawn, and a terrifying energy flowed out from the 3 arrows. The energy enveloped Hebei Zuanjian. Hebei Zuanjian held 2 swords in his hand, and a sharp aura emanated from his fierce eyes. In the scene, a repressive aura permeated. At this time, Fan Xianmi stepped forward and came towards Su Chen's carriage. Let's go out and meet the leader of this washing too. Fan Xianmi appeared, so he should also come out to meet the other party. After speaking, he lifted the curtain and walked down from the carriage. Looking at Su Chen who walked down from the carriage, Fan Xianmi revealed a chill in his eyes. I didn't expect that young Master Su would bring Zhuangzi, the third most beautiful woman in the world, with him. He is really courageous. Some people looked at Su Chen who got off the carriage and couldn't help but admire him. He came to fight with washing and brought a beauty with him. This is completely not taking washing seriously. Or it can be said that he didn't take the other party seriously in the first place, otherwise there would be no Kinglan Club blocking the door. Sister, this Zhuangzi is faster than you. Nangang Yiren looked at Nangang Qiushu. Nangang Qiushu's face was calm. This Su Chen is very confident. I wonder what the source of his confidence is? Nangang Qiushu said in a deep voice. Is there any need to say this? Kinglan Club must have other masters. When Nangang Yiren spoke, her eyes were slightly stunned. There are still people coming, and they should be very strong. Su Chen appeared before that person, so his position in the Kinglan Club must be higher than that of the 7th Dragon Leader Wei Zhuang. Sister, is there another Kinglan Club Dragon Leader in Jinling this time? The 4th Dragon Leader Fu Hongsu, he is in Jiangnan. Could it be him? Nangang Yiren guessed. It shouldn't be. The 4th Dragon Leader Fu Hongsu's strength is strong, but at most it is estimated to be the same as the driver. Nangang Qiushu said. Now there are only 2 Dragon Leaders in the Kinglan Club who have not appeared. One is the Big Dragon Leader, and the other is the 2nd Dragon Leader. Sister, who do you think will appear this time? Nangang Yiren's face showed excitement. She is also a killer. So she is very interested in the mysterious strong men in the killer organization like the Kinglan Club. Are you Su Chen? Fan Xianmi looked at Su Chen and said, yes, I will be the young leader of the Kinglan Society. Su Chen. Leader Fan has declared war, and I, the young leader, have to accept it on behalf of the Kinglan Society. Su Chen said calmly. Washan accepted Su Chen's task, which was to declare war on the Kinglan Society. I didn't expect a young leader to be so courageous, but do you think these people can protect you in my hands? Fan Xianmi looked at Su Chen, his eyes flashing with cold light, and a terrifying ki burst out from his body. The space around the ki burst was squeezed, forming a vacuum zone. Boom. Without any hesitation, the terrifying ki swept towards Su Chen in an instant. Ban Xianmi appeared in front of Su Chen. The ki on his body formed a protective ki. But under the suppression of Fan Xianmi's ki, the ki shield on Ban Xianmi's body was instantly shattered. Burning sky flame hand. Boom. Fan Xianmi shot out and slapped Ban Xianmi. Ban Xianmi kicked the ground with his foot, and his body also shot out, slapping his palm. Bang. The palms of the 2 men collided. At the moment of the collision, Ban Xianmi was shaken and flew backwards. His footsteps made a deep pit on the ground, before he could stabilize himself. Your protective energy is good, but you are not my opponent. Watch me blow up your protective energy. Fan Xianmi looked at Ban Xianmi and said coldly. While speaking, his figure went towards Ban Xianmi. Ban Xianmi continued to attack him, and the 2 fought several times in a row. Ban Xianmi was shaken away again. This time his arms fell down. The power in the palm of Fan Xianmi, who had just fought, passed through the Kijin and paralyzed his hands. Ban Xianmi was not Fan Xianmi's opponent. I'll send you on your way. Fan Xianmi's eyes showed a ferocious look. But when he finished speaking, his expression changed, and his eyes looked in the direction of Su Chen. At this time, a figure fell beside Su Chen. The figure that fell was a middle-aged man in white. The man was tall and had a haggard look on his face, but his eyes were bright, and he had a charming demeanor. Who is this? Zhuangzi looked at the man who appeared and looked at Su Chen, asking if he was the 2nd dragon head. Su Chen smiled. Zhuangzi looked at the man beside him. He looked haggard, but he exuded an extremely elegant temperament. Although he looked like a middle-aged man, he was very attractive. This is the person you said no one is not afraid of. Is this completely different? Such a person is attractive. Zhuang Zuanji complained in his heart. Sister, who is this person? Nangang Yiren looked at Nangang Qiushu and said. Let's take a look first. Nangang Qiushu said. In addition to these people, other people in the black market were also discussing who the man in white was. Who are you? Fan Shai and me looked at the man in white with a serious look. I'm Li Zunhun, the second leader of the Qinglang Society. The voice was clear and piercing. Li Zunhun, the second leader of the Qinglang Society. Hearing Li Zunhun's words, the people watching the fight in the black market were all shocked. They didn't expect that this person was Li Zunhun, the second leader of the Qinglang Society. Young Master Su, didn't you say that? Zhuang Zuanji, who was next to Su Chen, couldn't help but ask in a low voice after hearing Li Zunhun confirm his identity. He is indeed a person that everyone is afraid of. Of course, it's not his people, but his sword. Su Chen said. His sword? I didn't see any sword on him. Zhuang Zuanji's beautiful eyes were puzzled. She didn't see any sword on Li Zunhun. Li Zunhun, the second leader of the Qinglang Society. If I kill you, I don't think the Qinglang Society will have the face to appear in the Jiangnan area. Fan Shai and Mi's eyes revealed murderous intent. He turned his body, and his aura surged, and the invisible energy permeated, forming a visible energy fluctuation. Really? Li Zunhun just said softly. As he spoke, a crystal clear knife appeared in his palm. The knife was gleaming with a sharp edge. A knife. I didn't expect that the second leader of the Qinglang Society would use such a knife. It's really disappointing. A sneer appeared in Fan Shai and Mi's eyes. But when he sneered, Li Zunhun's aura changed, and his killing power soared into the sky. Not only did his aura change, but even the surrounding space changed. In the gloomy and dark space, the hanging lanterns began to sway, and the flames kept shaking, as if they were about to go out. An endless deathly aura permeated the air. Woo woo, a kind of deathly oppression enveloped my heart. Swish, Li Zunhun's flying knife was launched. In an instant, people seemed not to see the flying knife being launched, and the flying knife disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. But Fan Shai and Mi, who had previously mocked Li Zunhun, changed his face, and his true energy surged. He punched out with his palm, trying to block the flying knife. The flying knife was like a stream of light, staggering through space, piercing through his fist and his energy. Swish! A cold light flashed, and a flying knife appeared in Fan Shai and Mi's throat. Fengion's knife. One knife to seal his throat. Chapter 684. Pure killing intent. The different dragon heads of the Qinglang Society. Your strength. Fan Shai and Mi was stabbed in the throat, but he did not die immediately. His fist was about to touch the opponent's flying knife, but the opponent's flying knife missed his fist force in a flash, leaving him no time to resist, and letting the flying knife penetrate his throat. However, the opponent was able to penetrate his body's protective ki, and the artistic conception and divine power of this flying knife were definitely extraordinary. When did such a terrifying master appear in the martial arts world? Fan Shai and Mi wanted to ask this question, but after he finished speaking, his body fell to the ground. The man who was confronting Heli Beizuan Jian with a longbow in his hand changed his face when he saw this. The arrow on the longbow turned instantly and shot out in the direction of Su Chen. At the moment of violent shooting, 4 arrows flew out from the quiver behind him and landed on the longbow. Instantly, another violent shooting followed. After the 4 arrows were launched, they split into 2. 2 were directed at Heli Beizuan Jian, and 2 were directed at Li Zunhun. The action was extremely fast, and the shot was launched in the blink of an eye. After 2 bows, the black-clothed man turned around and headed for the broken stronghold behind him. Li Zunhun waved his palm, and 4 rays of light flew out, shattering all the arrows that were shot at Su Chen. He waved his sleeve to wrap up the arrow in front of him. With a turn of his arm, the 2 arrows turned around in an instant and flew towards the man who shot the arrows. The man who turned around felt the arrows whistling behind him. He twisted his body with arrows in his hand and instantly flew out 2 arrows. He did not stop and continued to move forward. Bang! The arrows collided and made a bursting sound. At this moment, the double swords in the hands of Heli Beizuan Jian had already cut the arrows, and his body shot out violently. He would not let the other party leave. This famous arrow of washing has some strength. Chen looked at the back of the famous arrow and said in admiration, at this time, Yuan Suan, Liu Sheng Tajimano Mori, Banshai Niu, and Zio Siwu gathered beside Chen and saluted Li Zunhuan. Meet the second dragon head. Li Zunhuan nodded slightly. It's dangerous to be targeted like this. The warriors in this world are not ordinary. Li Zunhuan walked in front of Chen and said, I just showed up. You guys are the ones who can take action. I'm just a tool. Chen said softly. The two talked easily. From their expressions and tones, it seemed that their status was equal. Zuangji was watching this reaction from the side with a puzzled look. Boom. At this moment, in the ruins of Washing, an explosion sounded, and then two figures rushed out. One was the black and white Zuanjian holding two swords, and the other turned around and wanted to escape from Mingjian. The two people's energy flowed. Leave a way for others. Why force me so hard? After today, Washing will be disbanded, and let me leave. Mingjian said. There was a solemnity in his eyes. Just now, he didn't have the opportunity to escape from here. So he proposed to disband Washing and let King Longhu let him leave. Defeat me, kill me, and you can leave. Otherwise, I will offer your soul and merge it into my sword. This is the price you pay for attacking Xiao Longshao. Zuanjiang's eyes revealed an extremely cold chill. You are only loyal to Xiao Longshao of King Long Hui. Mingjian asked hoarsely. My life belongs to Xiao Longshao. Anyone who dares to attack Xiao Longshao will die. Zuanjiang's voice was cold, without a trace of emotion. Hearing Zuanjiang's words, the eyes of the people in the black market changed slightly. Their understanding of Chen was only Xiao Longshao of King Long Hui. But after today, they need to take it seriously. A top-notch concentrated strongman, loyal to death. No matter what, it cannot be underestimated. Sister, this Chen's position as Xiao Longshao is not ordinary. Nangang Yiran said. Wait until I go back and report to my father. Nangang Qiushu said in a deep voice. At this time, not far away, on a tall building, a man in black brocade robes looked at the Washing stronghold with narrowed eyes. The Qinglang society is making a big noise. Why don't you intervene? You have some friendship with Mingjian. A man in purple robes came over and said. Since he chose to attack, he must choose this result. What's more, I'm not absolutely sure that I can dodge the knife of Li Zunhuan, the second leader of the Qinglang society. The divine power of that knife plus the absolute state of mind is really fast. The man in black said in a deep voice. If I can't dodge it, then is there no way to break his knife? Hearing this, the man in purple robes asked in a deep voice. The key is more powerful and the body is stronger. After all, the flying knife is just an ordinary flying knife. As long as the body is stronger, even if the state of mind is strong, it may not break the throat. Brahma is a little arrogant. If he blocks with all his strength, he should be able to block the knife. It's a pity that I underestimated the opponent, resulting in not being able to dodge a knife. The man in black sighed. It seems that you are not going to take action. You are the controller of the black market this term. If you let the Qinglang society run wild, it may have an impact on the black market. What impact? This is the black market. The opponent is strong and has the power to break the rules. Moreover, the strong are respected, no matter where they are. The opponent is the rule. You are so encouraging me to take action. Do you want me to try the opponent? The opponent is there. You can go and try. I think the opponent's flying knife is faster, or your Basin swordsmanship is faster. The man in black said to the man in purple. It is definitely not as fast as his flying knife. If I get close, my knife will definitely be faster than his knife. The man in purple said. His eyes looked at the stronghold. You said that between Mingjian and the opponent, who will die and who will live. The man in purple changed the subject and said. The opponent's divine power is extraordinary. It is difficult for Mingjian to win, but Mingjian, his archery is strong, and his fist and foot skills are also extraordinary. This person may not be able to defeat him. The man in black said in a deep voice. I'm optimistic about that man. He has pure killing intent, and has killed many people. I just don't know why such a person has never appeared in the killer world. The purple robed man said in a deep voice. Are the killing intents of others not pure? The black-clothed man asked after hearing this. Only this man and the 7th dragon leader Wei Zhuang give me the feeling of a killer, because they have ruthless eyes and murderous intent. Others are not like that. Especially the 2nd dragon leader Li Zunhun. I can't describe the feeling he gives me. He has a sense of openness, and above the world. The purple-robed man said in a deep voice. This Qinglang society is really extraordinary. I've heard about the 3rd dragon leader. His fists are powerful, and he has an endless domineering aura. He is a hero-level figure. Fu Hongxue has appeared in Jiangnan. According to the information, he is very lonely, a kind of lonely traveler in the world. As for the 5th dragon leader and the 6th dragon leader, their auras are also different. I really want to know what kind of person the great dragon leader of the Qinglang society is. The black-clothed man said. Chapter 685, No Sorrow, ends. The Azure Dragon rises. It is indeed as you said, so this Wei Zhuang is the leader of the assassins in Jinling City. Maybe he is here. The purple-robed man looked at Wei Zhuang. When he looked at Wei Zhuang seemed to have a feeling, and looked over here. Sensing several breaths over there, Wei Zhuang's eyes condensed, and finally looked at Black and White Zuanjian and Mingjian. At this time, the auras of the two were violent. When Mingjian said that, he knew that he had to fight to the death today. If not, he would not be able to leave here today. He put the bow and arrow in his hand again, and another arrow appeared in the quiver. After this arrow, there were 3 arrows left in his quiver. Swish. The arrow shot out violently, and went towards Black and White Zuanjian. The arrow was extremely fast and powerful. In the blink of an eye, it was in front of Zuanjian. Zuanjian slashed with 2 long swords. Clang. The long sword collided with the arrow, and the body was shaken back a step by the force. Bang. At this moment, Mingjian shot out, holding the long bow in his right hand and instantly soaring into the air. At the moment of soaring into the air, his palm landed on the bowstring and pulled it. An invisible ki force rushed towards Hebei Zuanjian. Divine power. Rain of arrows. Whoosh. After the soaring attack, he grabbed the ground with his palm. The arrow that had previously fallen on the ground was instantly sucked into his hand and placed on the long bow. Swish. In an instant, arrows fell from the sky like a rain of arrows, attacking Hebei Zuanjian. He himself landed on a tall building next to him. Hebei Zuanjian blocked the opponent's arrow with 1 strike, and just as he was about to react, the opponent's invisible sword energy attacked. Along with the ki force, the opponent's divine power was activated, and arrows like a rain of arrows swept towards him. The arrows under the effect of divine power were extremely powerful. Divine power, sky curtain. The black ki force burst out from Hebei Zuanjian's body, forming a terrifying ki force black curtain. Under this black curtain, his figure turned into a black light, and rushed towards the rain of arrows. He clenched the double blades in his hands and spun around. When the arrows touched him, they were all shaken away. Fire was constantly emitting. The sword energy cut through the rain of arrows and rushed towards the tall building where Mingjian was. Mingjian's expression changed. He turned around and headed towards the depths of the black market. However, the airflow around him at this moment vaguely restricted his speed. Hebei Zuanjian landed in front of him and slashed at him with the 2 swords in his hands. The speed was extremely fast. A strong energy appeared on his body, and he kicked the house with his footsteps and shot towards Hebei Zuanjian. The opponent affected his speed, so it was a bit difficult to escape. He held the bow in his right hand to block the long sword in the opponent's hand. But then 2 streams of energy were transmitted from the longbow to his body. His palm fell slightly, and the longbow fell. He raised his toes and lifted the fallen longbow. He took a step back, and the longbow fell on his body. Mysterious fist. A punch was thrown, and huge power instantly burst out from the fist. Countless air was squeezed, forming a violent air wave towards the black and white Zuanjian. The momentum and movement were extremely fast. When approaching Zuanjian, several fist shadows burst out from the fist, enveloping Zuanjian. Facing this amazing punch, Zuanjian's expression did not change. He slashed with the 2 swords in his hands. The momentum was flat and there was no majesty, but it blocked several fist shadows. It's my turn. Zuanjian snorted coldly. He turned his body and slashed with his hands, slashing horizontally and cutting horizontally with great speed, faster than the opponent's fist. Swish. For a moment, a blood mark appeared on Mingjian's chest. Sword energy burst out. Mingjian's face changed, and his body quickly retreated, with a long bow in his hand, and the bowstring went towards the opponent's long sword. Ding. The bowstring blocked the long sword, making a harsh sound, which showed that the opponent's bowstring was not ordinary. He turned his hand, trying to wrap the longbow around Zuanjian's double swords. But Zuanjian's long sword fell from his hand, and his hands were under the bowstring, instantly grabbing the fallen sword handle, and then the long sword in his hand quickly stabbed out at an extremely fast speed. Swish, swish. The long sword penetrated the opponent's chest, inserted into the opponent's body. Then he quickly pulled it back, and chopped it backhand, and Mingjian's head was cut off by Zuanjian's long sword. A black breath entered Zuanjian's long sword without being seen by the naked eye. Bang! The head of the corpse fell from the tall building. Zuanjian came down from the tall building, walked in front of Mingjian, and picked up his longbow. This bow is not ordinary, and the long sword couldn't cut the bowstring. He was killed by the opponent after a single move. This person is terrifying. The purple-robed figure on the tall building said. I didn't expect that Washing would be destroyed like this. Without a leader, the remaining hall masters will probably quickly join the other two major forces. I'll go see the second dragon head of King Lanhu. After saying that, the black-robed man jumped and appeared in front of the base. The current leader of the black market has appeared. Seeing the black-robed man appear, the people in the black market showed surprise on their faces. They didn't expect that the black market leader would appear at this time. I'm Bei Zuanming, the manager of the current black market. On behalf of the black market, I welcome King Lanhu to join the black market. The base of Washing will belong to King Lanhu after today, Bei Zuanming said. Thank you very much, Your Excellency Bei Zuanming. Li Zunhuan thanked him. Since the other party gave them such face, they didn't need to be arrogant. Mingjian and I have some connection. I want to take his body away. I wonder if the second dragon head can accommodate me. Bei Zuanming said after saying that. Okay. The person has been killed, and the other party just wants to take the body away. Respect is still needed for the strong. Thank you. Bei Zuanming came to Mingjian, put his head and body together, and left quickly with the body. After this battle, the Qinglang Society won, and won so strongly. I'm afraid that the Qinglang Society will be more powerful than the other two killer forces in terms of momentum, and will become the largest killer force in the Jiangnan region. Nangang Kieshi said. Our organization is in trouble, encountering such a strong opponent. Nangang Yiren said in a deep voice. The strength displayed by the Qinglang Society is too strong. Your leader is so smart, he will not be an enemy of the Qinglang Society for the time being, but you have to find a way to withdraw from Kanmeng. Nangang Kieshi said. I can't withdraw, sister. My master is the leader of Kanmeng. Nangang Yiren transmitted the voice. Hearing this, Nangang Kieshi was stunned. Does father know about this? Father doesn't know yet. Nangang Yiren said. Let's talk about this after we go back. I'm still in Paradise Palace and have some grievances with the Qinglang Society. I hope the Qinglang Society won't bring up the past. Let's go. Now that the matter is over, there's no need for us to stay here. Nangang Kieshi said and turned to leave. Many people in the black market left one after another. The excitement was over. But after today, I'm afraid no one will ignore the Qinglang Society, who let the second leader of the Qinglang Society, Li Zunhuan, kill the leader of Washan with just a flying knife. Fan Xianmi died a bit aggrievedly, and died before he could show his ability. He died too quickly. Many people felt that Fan Xianmi was not worthy of his reputation. Chapter 686 Zhuang Mingsheng. Where is the courage? Threat. In the city, in the study of the Zhuang family, Zhuang Mingfan's face was not good. This morning, he learned that the three managers he had bribed before, after not agreeing to Zhuang Zhuangji's plan, were left behind by Zhuang Zhuangji. After one night, there was no news. Now he really wants to know the current situation of these three people. He spent a lot of money to get these three people, and it is very important for him to take over the Zhuang family's bank. Do you know where the young lady went? Did you find out where she locked up the three managers? Zhuang Mingfen looked at the housekeeper in front of him and said. Master, the news from the bank has been blocked, and I don't know the specific situation of the 3 managers, but I do know where the young lady went. The young lady went to see Su Chen of the Qinglang Society. The housekeeper bowed and said, she went to see Su Chen. Does this girl really want to give the bank to the Qinglang Society? I'm not dead yet. Zhuang Mingfen's face showed anger, and he said in a cold voice, go and call her back. I want to ask the 3 people about their situation in person. Zhuang Mingfen said in a deep voice. The housekeeper nodded and prepared to leave the room and go to Su Chen to find Zhuangji. At this time, an attendant walked in from outside. Master, black market secret report. The man handed the secret report to Zhuang Mingfen. Zhuang Mingfen took the secret report and checked it, but then his expression changed, and his face became very ugly. The second dragon head of Qinglang Society appeared in the black market, and a flying knife killed the leader of Wusheng, Fan Xianmi, with one blow. Wusheng is finished, Zhuang Mingfen said in shock. There was a look of horror in his eyes. Hearing Zhuang Mingfen's words, the housekeeper beside him was stunned. Take a look. Zhuang Mingfen handed the secret report to the housekeeper. The housekeeper hurriedly checked it, and after checking it, his face also changed. You go down first. He waved his hand to let the attendant leave. After the attendant left, the housekeeper said in a deep voice, I didn't expect that the Qinglang Society would be so strong. Master, the young lady has hooked up with the Qinglang Society and took a carriage with Su Chen, the young leader of the Qinglang Society, to the black market. Their relationship is not ordinary. We can't keep the young lady any longer. If we keep the young lady, once we are discovered to have done something, I'm afraid we won't survive. When the housekeeper spoke, a hint of murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Zhuang Mingsheng could not replace Zhuang Mingfen without help. The only one who could help him was the housekeeper who had followed Zhuang Mingfen for more than 20 years. Zhuangji can't die now. Once Zhuangji dies, Su Chen will be suspicious and investigate. Once he finds out about you and me, I'm afraid we won't survive. So we can't be impatient about this matter, but I can't be so passive either. I need to meet Su Chen and find out his bottom line. Please make an appointment with Su Chen for me and ask him to come to the house. I want to confront him openly. With the handle in hand, he will be afraid of us. Zhuang Mingfen said, after thinking for a moment. I will go and inform him immediately. The housekeeper nodded and then walked out of the manor. Su Chen did not stay in the black market. When Zhuang could enter the black market base, he returned to his residence. There were 4 people when he went there, and there were 4 people when he came back. When Su Chen's carriage stopped in front of the courtyard gate, he saw the housekeeper guarding the door. The housekeeper saw Su Chen's carriage and showed joy on his face and came to the carriage. Su Chen and Zhuangji got off the car and saw the housekeeper of the Zhuang mansion, and their expressions were slightly startled. Housekeeper Nian, why are you here? Zhuangji asked with a puzzled look. Miss, the master wants to invite Su Shaolanxiao to the manor for a chat. Housekeeper Nian said. Invite Su Shaolanxiao to have a chat? Didn't father just meet with Su Shaolanxiao? Zhuangji said. Miss, the gold notes have been exchanged too slowly recently. The master wants to communicate with Su Shaolanxiao to see how to speed up the progress, which can also help Miss. Housekeeper Nian said hurriedly. Is that so? Butler Nian, you go back first. I will go back to the manor with Su Shaolanxiao later. I also have some money house matters to discuss with my father. Zhuangji said. Then I will go back and report to the master first and wait for Su Shaolanxiao to come. Butler Nian said hurriedly, looking at Su Chen. Su Chen nodded. Butler Nian bowed and left. After Butler Nian left, Zhuangji's face became gloomy. My father treated him well, but he actually betrayed my father. Zhuangji's eyes were a little lonely, and there was a murderous intent in the loneliness. Butler Nian had been with his father for a long time. Unexpectedly, he betrayed her father. Her father's death must have something to do with this Butler Nian. What do you think Zhuang Mingsheng is here for? Su Chen was a little confused about the reason why Zhuang Mingsheng asked him to talk tonight. Zhuang Mingsheng did not cooperate with the gold note exchange, and it should not be for this matter. Maybe he knows what happened in the black market and wants to test our bottom line," Zhuangji said in a deep voice. "Then I'll go and see how he tests my bottom line." Su Chen showed a sneer on his face. Zhuang Mingsheng had been hiding very deeply in front of him before. If it weren't for Zhuangji saying that the gold bill exchange was too slow, he wouldn't have asked anyone to check, and he wouldn't have known the identity of Zhuang Mingsheng. "I'll go back to the bank first, and I'll pick you up in the evening, and go to the banker's house together." Zhuangji thought that she had to go back to the bank to make some arrangements. After all, she had been out for a long time. Su Chen nodded. The two separated. In the evening, Zhuangji came and followed Su Chen to the banker's house in a carriage. "Is there anything wrong with the bank?" "No, he just sent someone to check, but I have made arrangements in advance. He just knows that the people were imprisoned by me," Zhuangji said. "Is that so? Then I really want to see what he wants to do," Su Chen said softly. Su Chen was not interested in Zhuang Mingsheng. He was interested in the grave of the dead behind Zhuang Mingsheng. After a while, the carriage arrived in front of the Zhuang family manor. Steward Nan had been waiting for Su Chen and the others at the gate of the manor. After Su Chen got off the car, he hurried forward. "Young Master Su, the owner of the manor has been waiting for you." When he spoke, he did not care about Zhuangji. Once Zhuang Mingsheng and Su Chen had a showdown today, he would not have to care about Zhuangji. For the gold ticket and to prevent the Nangang family in Chal Palace from knowing that Madame Chal and the people of the Nangang family died at the hands of the Qinglang Society, Su Chen would definitely cooperate with Zhuang Mingsheng. As long as they cooperated, Zhuangji was destined to become a victim. After entering the manor, "Miss, you go to the banquet hall first. I will take young Master Su to the study." The master said that he wanted to discuss things with young Master Su alone first, and then have dinner. Steward Nan said, "Okay." Zhuangji nodded, without any change in his expression. Separated from the two, Butler Nan took Su Chen and Yuan Suan, who followed Su Chen, to the direction of Zhuang Mingsheng's study. After a while, they arrived in front of Zhuang Mingsheng's study. "Young Master Su, the master is in the study. You can go in directly. I will go to arrange the dinner first." Butler Nan left first after saying that. In the study, Zhuang Mingsheng saw Su Chen and smiled. "Congratulations to young Master Su. Qinglang Society destroyed Wushing and became one of the 3 nuclear organizations in Jiangnan," Zhuang Mingsheng said. "Wushing attacked me and issued a challenge. My Qinglang Society is a little stronger than them, so it is not worth congratulating them for winning. I don't know what Mr. Zhuang wants to discuss with me alone," Su Chen asked. He was very curious. What was the purpose of Zhuang Mingsheng's meeting with him? Hearing Su Chen's words, Zhuang Mingsheng's face became gloomy and solemn. "This time I met with Su Xiaolong alone to tell him one thing. I'm not Zhuang Mingfen, but Zhuang Mingsheng, the brother of Zhuang Mingfen. My goal is to obtain the bank of the Zhuang family, so I hope Su Xiaolong will not interfere in the affairs of the bank of the Zhuang family. I will also take 3 layers of profits from the gold bill exchange. In this way, no one will ever know about the death of Madame Jilei and Nangang Sheng," Zhuang Mingsheng said. Su Chen's face turned gloomy when he heard Zhuang Mingsheng's words. He didn't know where Zhuang Mingsheng got the courage to threaten him. Chapter 687. If you want to do it, you have to catch them all. Seeing the change in Su Chen's expression, Zhuang Mingsheng's expression was very calm. "Young Master Su, the Nangang family is a 1,000-year-old family in Jiangnan, and their strength and foundation are extraordinary. There are also strong people behind the Paradise Palace. The strength of these 2 parties will definitely affect your Qinglang Club's layout in Jiangnan. It's worth paying this little bit of benefit." Zhuang Mingsheng looked at Su Chen and said, "What about Zhuangji? Is Zhuangji the actual controller of the Zhuang family bank?" Su Chen's complexion recovered and asked, "If young Master Su likes, Zhuangji can become your forbidden delicacy. If you get tired of playing with her, you can also kill her. I can do this for you," Zhuang Mingsheng said. Zhuangji is the 3rd most beautiful woman in the world. For such a beauty, he believes that Su Chen will not let her die all at once, so he said so. "Your second uncle is really a bit cruel." Su Chen looked at Zhuang Mingsheng and said, The world of martial arts is like this. When I killed my brother, I didn't kill her, which was already considered merciful. Zhuang Mingsheng said. It is a bit merciful, but I feel there is another way to do it. Maybe that method is more suitable for me. Su Chen said. Hearing Su Chen's words, Zhuang Mingsheng showed a puzzled look on his face and said, I wonder if Su Xiaolanshao has any good methods? In his heart, he thought that, no matter what method Su Chen said, it would not change his mind. Now he, Zhuang Mingsheng, has the upper hand, and Su Chen must follow his method. But he also wanted to hear Su Chen's ideas. Su Chen stepped forward and came in front of Zhuang Mingsheng. A ferocious look suddenly appeared on his face, and his palm was raised instantly, grabbing Zhuang Mingsheng's throat with one palm. Then kill you. Zhuangji is mine, and Zhuangjia Bank is also mine. The terrifying power was in his palm. He lifted Zhuang Mingsheng's body directly, pulled it in front of him, and then slammed it hard on the ground. Bang! The back of Zhuang Mingsheng's head collided with the ground. Blood immediately flowed out of the back trough. The pain made Zhuang Mingsheng's face become hideous. He wanted to make a sound, but his throat was held by Su Chen, so he couldn't make any sound. Threat me? Su Chen never accept threats. I don't know where you get the courage to threaten me, and you want 30% of the benefits. This is a dung beetle looking for shit. Su Chen looked at the other party with cold eyes, and the hand holding his throat loosened a little. You can't kill me, I am. Zhuang Mingsheng stuttered as his throat was loosened a little. Are you going to talk about dead man's grave? Are you going to threaten me with dead man's grave? Su Chen said before he finished speaking. How do you know dead man's grave? Zhuang Mingsheng's face changed drastically when he heard Su Chen's words. He didn't expect Su Chen to know about dead man's grave. How should I know? Do you think I will exchange the gold note for your Zhuangjia Bank? Don't I know you, the big boss of Zhuangjia Bank? Just because I'm familiar with Zhuangji, will I give such a large gold note to your Zhuangjia Bank? But boss Zhuang, you are not the real boss Zhuang. I really haven't found out about this matter. Su Chen said coldly. Hearing Su Chen's words, Zhuang Mingsheng's expression became as hen. As for the last sentence Su Chen said, it is not important now. If he were Zhuang Mingfen, Su Chen might spare his life for the sake of Zhuangji, but it's a pity that he is not. Young Master Su, if you let me go, I can tell you some things about the Tomb of the Dead. Suddenly, Zhuang Mingsheng thought of something. His hen eyes became bright. The Zhuangjia Bank is no longer useful, so only some information about the Tomb of the Dead may be able to buy his life. The information about the Tomb of the Dead seems to be useless to me. Su Chen frowned slightly, but in his heart, he secretly thought that Zhuang Mingsheng was very sensible. He talked so much nonsense to the other party, and even led the conversation to the dead man's tomb, just to let Zhuang Mingsheng talk about something about the dead man's tomb. Looking at Su Chen frowning, Zhuang Mingsheng hurriedly said, Young Master Su, I was sent by the dead man's tomb to manage the Zhuang family's bank. The dead man's tomb wants to be born after the full moon, and they need a lot of funds. But according to my secret investigation, this is all on the surface. The one who actually needs funds is the Jiangnan Lai family. The Lai family, the mother clan of the 7th prince. Su Chen didn't expect that this matter was related to the Lai family. The Lai family is also one of his potential enemies. After all, Su Chen's people killed the 7th prince's fiancé, and now Cui Wuhu and the 5 poison boys are still making trouble on their territory. This information is useless to me, and it can't buy your life. While Su Hao was speaking, his palm loosened, but he pressed the opponent's mute point. Then his palm slapped 4 times in a row, breaking the opponent's limbs. The pain made Zhuang Mingsheng roll on the ground. He wanted to scream, but he couldn't make a sound. Zhuang Mingsheng probably only knew so much information, so it was useless. The person in the secret room might know more. Of course, there was also the housekeeper Nian. Su Chen walked out of the study and said to Yuan Suan, who was standing at the door, go and invite Miss Zhuang and housekeeper Nian to come. On the way here, tell her about what happened here so that she can prepare. After all, he couldn't carry Zhuang Mingsheng. whose limbs were broken, to the banquet hall so swaggeringly, so he could only ask Yuan Suan to invite Zuangji and housekeeper Nan to come together. In the banquet hall, Zuangji looked at the time for a while, looking a little anxious. Housekeeper Nan, why don't we go to the study together? Hearing this, housekeeper Nan, who was standing aside, said, Miss, I believe the master and the others will finish their talk in a while. While housekeeper Nan was talking, Yuan Suan came to the banquet hall. Miss Zuang, butler Nan, boss Zuang wants you to go together. Yuan Suan was speaking, and he transmitted what happened in the study to Zuangji. Zuangji's expression remained unchanged, but she was shocked in her heart. She didn't expect Zuang Mingsheng to threaten Su Chen. Butler Nan, who was standing by, showed a happy look on his face. Yuan Suan came to tell them, indicating that Zuang Mingsheng and Su Chen had reached an agreement. Miss, let's go. Butler Nan said. In his heart, after today, I'm afraid there will be no Zuangji. The three of them quickly came to the study. The study was relatively quiet, because Zuang Mingfen didn't want anyone to know the content of his conversation with Su Chen. He transferred the entourage and guards around. Butler Nan pushed open the door of the study. He walked into the study, but when he saw the scene in the study, Butler Nan's expression changed, and he turned around and wanted to escape. Bang! Behind him, Yuan Suan slapped him on the back. The young housekeeper who was hit by the palm spit out blood and fell to the ground. His eyes went black and he fainted. This man was still useful, so Yuan Suan didn't kill him with one palm. Find Zuanjian and bring me the elder of the dead man's tomb in the secret room. Su Chen said to Yuan Suan. If we want to do it, we have to catch them all in one fell swoop. So we can see if we can get some useful information. I have something to do today, so I will post it first. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 688, Crippled, Investigated, Grave of the Dead, White Bones Master. Inside a secret room. The old man in black robe sat cross-legged with his eyes closed, and a stream of blood appeared on his body. On his face, dark red and shiny blood lines appeared, and these lines formed a very strange blood rune. These runes cooperated with his own blood and ki, constantly flowing and circulating. Dang. Dang. There was a knock on the door outside the secret room. The old man in black robe suddenly opened his closed eyes. There was a terrifying bloodlight in his opened eyes. Combined with the bloodlines on his face, it gave people a very strong sense of impact. Zuang Mingsheng knows this time point. I'm practicing. Humph, if there is nothing important, I will make him suffer. The old man in black robe snorted coldly. Come in. The old man in black robe said in a low voice, and the voice penetrated the stone wall of the secret room. Outside the stone wall of the secret room, Henny Beizu and Zhang's eyes moved slightly. He knocked on the stone door, mainly to confirm whether the other party was inside. Creaking, the stone door was pushed open. Black and white Zuanjian, carrying two swords on his back, walked into the secret room and closed the stone door again. The old man in black robe, who was sitting cross-legged, looked at black and white Zuanjian, his eyes fixed, and said, "Who are you? Are you from the Zuang family?" The old man in black robe spoke in a low voice, with a hint of chill. "I'm following the order of the Zuang master. Please go to the study." Su Chen wanted a living person. So if the other party could go to the study by himself, it would be a good choice. After all, he was afraid that he would accidentally kill the other party if he took action. Hearing what black and white Zuanjian said, the old man in black robe became even colder. Zuang Mingsheng, he is getting more and more presumptuous. I want to see what the reason is for his presumptuousness, but in order to teach him a lesson, I will still take your body with me. It just so happens that I have recently achieved the great perfection of the heavenly demon extreme Ganki, so I will use you to test it. When the old man in black robe spoke, murderous intent appeared in his eyes and his tone was cold. He wanted to take the corpse of black and white Zuanjian to see Zuang Mingsheng. As soon as the words fell, the old man in black robe stood up. moved his feet, and his figure turned into a residual shadow, appearing in front of Black and White Zuan-Jian like teleportation. He raised his palm and slapped Black and White Zuan-Jian's face heavily. Heavenly Evil Demon Extreme Hand. A blood-colored evil spirit burst out from his palm. The terrifying blood-colored evil spirit squeezed the air in the secret room, forming a blood-colored vacuum area. Boom. Just when his palm fell, Black and White Zuan-Jian moved his feet and retreated. At the moment of retreating, the two swords were caught in his hands. A terrifying power fluctuation burst out from his body. The strength of this old man in black is only in the Danshan transformation sea, and Black and White Zuan-Jian does not need to use divine power. The aura that burst out from his body directly suppresses the opponent. You are sensing the power that burst out from Black and White Zuan-Jian. The old man in black robe changed his expression. The suppression of the opponent's aura burst out can know that the opponent's strength exceeds him. It would be better if you just followed me obediently, but you had to force me to do it. While Helibei Zuan-Jian was talking, he moved and slashed with his two swords at such a fast speed that he appeared in front of the other party in the blink of an eye. The sword energy burst out from the blade, and the terrifying sword energy enveloped the black-robed old man, who looked horrified. Heavenly Evil Fist. Although he was horrified, he would never sit still and wait for death. He punched out with his fist, and the bloody evil energy flowed like a dragon towards the sword energy of Helibei Zuan-Jian. Bang! The sword energy collided with the palm energy. The whole body of the black-robed old man was slashed by the sword energy and flew backwards, hitting the wall, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. He wanted to stand up, but at this moment, Helibei Zuan-Jian's figure turned into a residual image and appeared in front of him, turning the two swords in his hands. Swish! Ah! The black-robed old man screamed. His limbs were cut by the black and white swords. Bang! Then the hilt hit his chest. His eyes turned black and he fainted. Helibei Zuan-Jian picked up the old man in black and walked out of the secret room. The difference in strength was too great, and Zuan-Jian easily beat the old man in black seriously. In the study room, Chen woke up the two unconscious people and performed the heavenly demon Zen seal. He got some information from the two people. From the information obtained, Zhuang Mingsheng was dragged into the dead man's tomb by the housekeeper. However, the two people did not know where the dead man's tomb was. In addition to the people in the secret room, the only person who contacted them was the White Bone Master, one of the 4 dead people in the dead man's tomb. Other useful information was about the bank. In addition to the 3 people killed by Zuangji, there was another person who was secretly recruited by Zhuang Mingsheng and became his subordinate. I didn't expect that Mr. Zhao was also conquered by my second uncle. It really surprised me. It seems that his usual support for me is just a show. Zuangji said in a deep voice, now that we know it now, let's get rid of him, but don't leave any trouble. The exchange of gold notes cannot be openly related to my Kinglan Club. Chen said. Don't worry, young Dragon Chief, the bank has always helped people in the black market to deal with the exchange of gold notes. What's more, before handing it over to them, the gold notes have been secretly divided and processed, and the Kinglan Club has nothing to do with it. Zuangji said. Zhuangjia Bank has a foothold in Jinling, Jiangnan. As the third bank in Dazhou, the circulation of silver and money is huge, and it must be doing the exchange of gold notes in the black market. Merchants pursue profits. As long as there is profit, everyone wants to get a piece of the pie. Very good. Chen nodded. Kinglan Club has now become famous in Jinling City or Jiangnan. After being high profile, you also need to be low-key and calm. While they were talking, Helibei Zuan-Jian brought the black-clothed old man with blood flowing from his limbs to Chen's study. Looking at the black-clothed old man with his limbs and meridians cut off, Chen couldn't help but shook his head. This black-clothed old man was one of the 4 dead men in the dead man's tomb, a special envoy under the White Bone Master, named Qiu Yundao. He must know more than Zhuang Mingsheng. Wake him up. Chen said. Yuan Suan poured a cup of tea on the black-clothed old man's face. The coolness of the tea made the black-clothed old man sober up, and a ferocious look appeared on his face. Zhuang Mingsheng, you are looking for death. You dare to plot against me. At this moment, he thought it was Zhuang Mingsheng who was plotting against him. Qiu Yundao, look carefully, Zhuang Mingsheng is lying there like you. Su Chen pointed to Zhuang Mingsheng and the housekeeper who were lying on the ground like mud with dull eyes not far away. Looking at the two people, the black-clothed old man's expression changed. Who are you? I'm the special envoy of Lord Whitebone of the Tomb of the Dead. If you attack us, you will be the enemy of Lord Whitebone. As he finished speaking, Su Chen stepped forward and grabbed the other person's throat, exerting force with his palm. As Su Chen continued to exert force, the black-clothed old man's face, which had already lost too much blood, became even paler, and his eyes became turbid. At this time, a ray of light appeared in Su Chen's eyes, and the light shot into the other person's eyes. I ask you questions, and you answer them. Su Chen used the heavenly demon Zen seal to influence the other person with his mental power. In this way, the news will come faster, and there is no need to worry that the news is false. Chapter 689, The Capital City. Zhu Ping is in a good mood. Zhuangjie. The bloody atmosphere permeated. Zhuang Mingsheng became the master of Zhuangjie and arranged many people inside Zhuangjie. These people could not be kept, so they had to die. Zhuangji was the one who took action, and she cleaned up all these people. After Su Chen got hold of these three people and knew the news he should know, Zhuangji personally sent the three people on their way and quickly transferred some men to take charge of Zhuangjie Manor. While in charge of the manor, he also cleaned up Zhuang Mingsheng's people inside the bank, which can be said to be a big commotion. It is worth mentioning that he entrusted Zhuangjie Bank to exchange gold notes, but Qiu Yundao of Dead Man's Tomb did not know about it. Zhuang Mingsheng concealed this matter in order to gain more benefits in Dead Man's Tomb and secretly reported to the Whitebone's master. This is why he was unwilling to exchange gold notes on a large scale. Therefore, only Zhuang Mingsheng and the housekeeper knew about the exchange of gold notes. In this way, after Zhuang Mingsheng and the housekeeper died, no one else knew about the gold notes. Young Master Su, the news about the Zhuang family will be spread tomorrow. By then, I'm afraid that young master's reputation in the martial arts world will be affected. Zhuangji said as he stood beside Su Chen. Su Chen went to the Zhuang family's bank. The Zhuang family's owner died, and the Zhuang family's bank was purged. This matter was a big deal. It couldn't be concealed, and would soon spread. After it spread, how would the martial arts world speculate? Needless to say, Su Chen must have killed Zhuang Mingfen in order to occupy the Zhuang family's property. It's not important to have a good or bad reputation in the martial arts world. What's important is to know what you are doing. After tomorrow, there will be more rumors about you. Su Chen said. Zhuang Mingfen died, but her daughter Zhuangji lived with Su Chen. This is definitely a shocking news. Living next to the murderer of her father, Zhuangji might be spurned by many people. Young master, I know the consequences of this matter, and I don't care. Zhuangji's face did not change at all, and her eyes were firm. Although this rumor would seriously hurt her, it made her and Su Chen more closely tied. I'll leave the news about the Dead Man's Tomb to you to continue investigating. The focus is on the Whitebone's master. According to Qiu Yundao's guess, the Whitebone's master may be in the Lai family. Perhaps your father's death may be related to the Lai family. Su Chen said in a deep voice. Qiu Yundao actually didn't know where the Whitebone's master was, but he guessed that the Whitebone's master was in the Lai family. Lai family, I will investigate it thoroughly. A cold light flashed in Zhuangji's eyes. In fact, compared with the Dead Man's Tomb, the Lai family needs the Zhuang family bank more. She has already determined in her heart that her father's death is related to the Lai family. The next day, the news of the changes in the Zhuang family and the Zhuang family bank spread throughout Jinling City in a short time. The Zhuang family bank and the Zhuang family courtyard were all cleaned up. The person who took action in this matter was Zhuangji, and the person who was related to this matter was Su Chen, the young dragon head of the Qinglang Society. It is suspected that Su Chen killed Zhuang Mingfen in order to occupy the property of the Jiang family. Many people heard the news, and their eyes were filled with envy. Su Chen not only took down the Zhuang family bank, but also got Zhuangji. How could people not envy him? This matter and the killing of the leader of Washan by the Qinglang Society in the black market by Fan Xianmi, the two things continued to ferment, shaking the entire Jiangnan area. JB Area Number 1 Zhuang, HUO family HUO Washing, the new head of the HUO family, dressed in brocade, looked at the secret letter in his hand. Zhuang Zhuangji, Su Chen. The death of Xingchen and my brother must be related to the Qinglang Society. Zhuang Zhuangji, you bitch, I will definitely kill you. And that Su Chen. HUO Washing's face was extremely ferocious. He had been investigating the death of his elder brother HUO Yin and HUO Xingchen. He had never obtained any useful clues, but this message sent from Jiangnan let him know that the death of HUO Yin and HUO Xingchen must have been done by the killers of the Qinglang Society. He had previously received news that Zhuang Zhuangji went to the Lingjiang area. The Lingjiang area is close to the 9 northern counties. He used to think that Zhuang Zhuangji was handling the affairs of the Zhuang family bank, but after seeing this, he thought that Zhuang Zhuangji was going to see Su Chen, and the purpose was to ask Su Chen to kill HUO Xingchen, the most vicious woman's heart. I must make you die. HUO Washing's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He turned and left the study, heading towards the back mountain of the HUO family manor. That was where the HUO family's ancestor stayed. The strength shown by the Qinglang Society is too strong now. Although he is the head of the HUO family, such a big thing still needs to be discussed with the HUO family's ancestor. In the capital, in a dark palace in the Imperial Palace, Zhu Pingsheng looked at the secret letter in his hand and frowned slightly. The second dragon head of the Qinglang Society appeared. A flying knife killed the leader of Washan Fan Xianmi. The artistic conception and divine power of this flying knife are extraordinary. Zhu Pingsheng put down the secret letter and said in a deep voice, but your appearance may be one of the powerful driving forces for the changes in the martial arts world. Whether the martial arts world is in chaos or not, it still depends on the martial arts warriors themselves. The constant struggle between warriors, resource grabbing, interests, and vendettas are the sources of the struggles among martial artists. As a new killer organization, the emergence of Qinglang Hu so strongly is itself an uncertain factor. You have a great reputation and stronger strength. You don't need to look at anyone's face to act. You can offend anyone and dare to kill anyone. This is an unstable factor. This Qinglang Hu is beneficial to your majesty's plan, so you can put it aside for now. The emperor's teacher has not moved, which makes me feel uneasy. I must change this situation. Zhu Pingsheng said in a deep voice. It's not even a few days before the full moon, but he has not found any news from the emperor's teacher's mansion. The closer it is to the full moon, the more uneasy Zhu Pingsheng feels. Because this situation may lead to accidents. No matter how calm a person is, it is absolutely impossible to be quiet when so many killers appear. The reason for the quietness now can only be that he has enough foundation to face this matter. Since it is impossible to know from the inside, then knock from the outside to see your reaction. Zhu Pingsheng's eyes condensed, turned around, and took out a secret letter from the dark cabinet behind him. He walked down from the table and headed for a secret room next to the palace. Inside the secret room, two men in black silk gowns were holding long swords, half closed their eyes, leaning against the wall, and exuding a terrifying aura. Seeing Zhu Pingsheng coming in, the two men opened their eyes, and a black light shot out of their eyes. Hello, master. The two men saluted Zhu Pingsheng. Here is a list of assassins who have come to the capital recently. You kill all the people on the list, and don't leave any of them behind. Zhu Pingsheng handed the list in his hand to the two men holding the long swords. Master, don't worry, none of them will be left behind. After taking the list, and taking a look at it, the two men said, go and do it. Zhu Pingsheng nodded. Two figures left from another stone door. Chapter 690 Song Lun who was attacked and injured. In another place, in a secret room in the dark of Keijing's mansion, Di Wuhao, Keijing, and He Yishan were in the secret room. Does the second leader have any new arrangements? Di Wuhao looked at He Yishan and said, there are no other arrangements. The adults want to proceed according to the plan, but let us be wary of Zhu Pingsheng, saying that Zhu Pingsheng may take action. He Yishan said. Zhu Pingsheng is the most loyal person of Emperor Zhao. On the 15th day of the full moon, shouldn't he protect the palace? He shouldn't take action, right? Kajing said in a deep voice. What is the specific situation? The adult didn't say, just let us be wary. He Yishan shook his head. Is that so? I will pay attention to Zhu Pingsheng. Di Wuhao said in a deep voice. Just as they were talking, outside the stone gate, there was a hurried sound of footsteps. My lord, urgent secret report. At this time, a voice sounded outside the stone gate. Kajing stood up, pushed open the stone door, and walked out. What happened? Kajing asked in a deep voice. Someone attacked and killed the 4 assassins we invited. The attack was ruthless, without any unnecessary movements, and they all died from knife wounds. The man in black bowed and said. How strong are the 4 people who were killed? Kajing asked in a deep voice. One is a sea concentrated spirit, and the other 3 are Danshan who are Heian to Shan Renjiunan. Except for the sea concentrated spirit, the others are top assassins. From the traces of the opponent's attack, they have mastered the movements of these people. The man in black said in a deep voice. Top assassins, although their martial arts are not very strong, they are absolutely terrifying. Because they will appear at any time, and put you in danger. So this time, the killers and assassins invited by them, Evil Alliance, are not all martial arts masters who are concentrated in the sea. You go down, and continue to explore. If you have any news, notify me immediately. Kajing waved his hand. The man in black bowed and left. When Kajing returned to the secret room, he said solemnly. It seems that Zhu Pingsheng is angry. He sent people to kill the people we invited. But why did he choose to do it at this time? Kajing looked at He Yishan. In this case, He Yishan might know the reason. My lord didn't say, I don't know. He Yishan shook his head. If Zhu Pingsheng continues to kill like this, the people we invited may be shaken. Kajing said with a serious face. That's fine. They will think of this result when they come to the capital. If they can't escape Zhu Pingsheng's pursuit, then there is no need to participate in the siege and killing of the emperor's master on the 15th day of the full moon. What's more, our purpose is to use them, and the focus is on Zhenwu Garden. Speaking of which, Zhenwu Garden seems to be a little quiet recently. According to Qin Juan's previous style, he will not be silent like this. Emperor Wu Hao said. Silence, explosion. They didn't find the opportunity to attack, but if Zhenwu Garden attacks again, it will be a thunderbolt. Now Xian'ai Pavilion is very important to our cooperation, and no accidents can happen, so Zhenwu Garden still has to be watched. Emperor Wu Hao said. I will send someone to watch. Don't worry, if Zhenwu Garden makes any movement, I will pass it to Xian'ai Pavilion, Taizangtang. Kajing nodded. For those who come to the capital, as long as the strongest fighting force is there. Some killers and assassins do this just to make things realistic, and it doesn't matter if some die. In the Xianjian division, Chen looked at the information sent back from Jiangnan. I didn't expect the second dragon head of King Donghu to appear. He is so powerful. I'm afraid there are not many people in this world who can avoid his flying knife. Although Li Zhenhuan only had one battle for the time being, he had already established his status as a supreme strong man by killing Fan Shai and me with one blow. Su Chen, you are the young leader of the Green Dragon Society. No force will dare to underestimate you in the future. But you slaughtered the banker and took over the banker's bank. Why? Even if you slaughtered the banker, why did you leave Zhuangji and work for you? Chen showed a puzzled look on her face. According to the information she got, Su Chen is definitely Zhuangji's enemy, but Zhuangji is loyal to Su Chen. This matter is strange. It seems that we still need to investigate. But the full moon is coming soon. I wonder what kind of chaos will happen in the capital? Chen frowned slightly. Now she has a certain power in the Xianjian division, and knows some information. Getting this information made her horrified. This time, the Evil Alliance's plan to surround and kill the Emperor's teacher seemed to be pushed by an invisible hand. And the Emperor's teacher did not respond at all, and let the situation develop. The more she investigated, the more confused and frightened she became. So now she can only wait, and see what will happen on the day of the incident. At this time, in front of a dilapidated temple outside the capital city, there were two men standing in front of Song Lunhu, who was dressed in black. Two men holding long swords. Song Lunhu separated from Yan Shizhen after Yan Shizhen met up with Yi Gucheng and the others. He, Song Lunhu, was not a member of the Qinglang Society, so he had to avoid some things. After all, the more contact, the more secrets he knew, and the greater the chance of death. Who are you? I, Song Lunhu, don't seem to have offended you too. Song Lunhu said in a low voice. His exposed eyes stared at the other party vigilantly. He could sense a strong murderous intent from the other party, but the other party didn't answer him at all. After confirming that the other party was Song Lunhu, his eyes became unusually sharp. Then the two men holding long swords slashed at the same time. When they slashed, a powerful divine force permeated, increasing the speed and strength of the attack. Song Lunhu's eyes condensed, and his body retreated rapidly. The other party took action without saying a word, which was the rhythm of killing him. He raised his palms, and his divine power quickly surged out, and he slapped his palms. His palms collided with the long sword. Bang! The palms full of energy collided with the long sword. At the moment when his palms collided with the long sword, he was shocked, and a terrifying sword energy burst out from the opponent's long sword. Along his palms, it quickly surged to his arms. Bang! Bang! Two vibration sounds appeared in both arms. The black robes on his arms were all shattered, cracks appeared on his meridians, and blood spurted out. Song Lunhu's eyes changed, and he endured the pain. The energy burst out, shattering the opponent, and with this power, his body went to the ruined temple behind. Bang! His body crashed into the ruined temple. The two people who attacked quickly followed into the ruined temple, but did not find any trace of Song Lunhu. One of them looked at a place with his eyes fixed. A black figure was escaping rapidly into the distance. Chase. The two rushed out, and chased after the black figure. Damn, who are these people? Why did they attack me? Song Lunhu yelled as he fled. He ran in one direction without stopping. The two men had strange energy, and he was careless, and was seriously injured by the other party. In this situation, he had to find help. Now the only one who could help him was Yan Shizhen. Chapter 691, The one who strikes will die, two lives in one blow. In a remote mountain forest courtyard. The courtyard where Yan Shizhen, Yi Gucheng, Fu Hongxue, and Zeman Chuxu live. After Zeman Chuxu made a move last time, they were in seclusion here, to deal with the siege of the Emperor's master. Although they already knew that the target of the evil alliance was Zhenwu Garden, this matter had nothing to do with the four of them. They only had one thing to do, which was to attack the Emperor's master. Let's see how strong this teacher of Emperor Zhao is. Bang! At this moment, the door of the courtyard was smashed. Song Lunhu, wearing a mask, and with blood all over his arms, appeared in the courtyard. Brother Yan, help me. Song Lunhu shouted towards a room in the courtyard. He knew that was the room where Yan Shizhen was. As he finished speaking, two figures walked in from the door that he had knocked open. Song Lunhu, no one can save you. One of them said in a cold voice. Just when his words fell, in the main hall, a man walked out. He was dressed in black, with a black long sword on his waist. He walked towards the courtyard with a cold look in his eyes. It was Fu Hongxue, whose leg had been healed. He looked at the two people holding the long sword with cold eyes. Whoever attacks will die. The voice was cold, and revealed a murderous intent. We only kill Song Lunhu. Do you want to intervene? One of them looked at Fu Hongxue with cold eyes. Fu Hongxue did not speak. He had already said that, as long as the other party attacked, he would draw his sword. Seeing that Fu Hongxue did not reply, and the murderous intent emanating from his body was strong, they knew that Fu Hongxue wanted to intervene in this matter. His brows frowned slightly. He moved his feet, and in the blink of an eye, he turned into a residual shadow, and appeared in front of Fu Hongxue. The long sword in his hand instantly slashed out. Mind your own business, but it depends on whether you have the ability. A burst of black light burst out from the long sword in his hand. Divine power, a sword of heavenly light. A low voice, accompanied by the black sword energy, enveloped Fu Hongxue. There is something strange about their sword energy. Song Lunhu said immediately when he saw this. Just now, he fought with the opponent. When they fought, a sword energy burst out from the opponent's long sword and flowed into his arm through the meridians, injuring his meridians. It was very strange. Fu Hongxu's face was still indifferent. When the opponent drew his sword, he also struck out with a long sword in his hand. The white sword light, like a night light that cuts through the dark night, directly cut the opponent's black sword light with one blow. Finally, the two long swords collided with each other. Bang! There was no burst of energy, but only a muffled sound was heard. The body of the person who made the move was shaken and retreated several steps, looking at Fu Hongxue with a serious look. The opponent made a move, cut off his sword light, and also shook him back. His strength was above his. Attack together. Kill him first, he said to the other knife-wielding man. The two men looked at Fu Hongxue at the same time, and two blade intents burst out from their bodies. The blade intent was cold and ruthless. It revealed endless killing intent. Fu Hongxue sensed this blade intent, and his eyes moved slightly. He was very familiar with this blade intent, pure killing intent. His blade intent was also such a death blade intent. Stimulated by the two blade intents, Fu Hongxue also had a cold and ruthless blade intent. However, his blade intent was much stronger than the two of them. Seeing the blade intent on Fu Hongxue, the two men holding the blades looked at each other. Merge. The blade intents of the two of them actually merged into one. And with a move of their feet, their bodies shot out at the same time, with extremely consistent movements, turning into a residual image, appearing in front of Fu Hongxue, and slashing out with a blade. The two blade auras merged together in an instant. A huge black aura fell between heaven and earth. Fu Hongxue's eyes flashed with brilliance. The hand holding the long blade tightly exerted force, and then the long blade in his hand slashed out. The cold, deathly aura burst out from his long sword. It collided with the combined force of the sword. Bang! The two sword beams collided. A terrifying airflow spread out in all directions. Under the sword beam, the surrounding air formed a wave of air and blew out in all directions. The surrounding houses trembled under this energy. After the wave of air, the two people who attacked were knocked back and looked at Fu Hongxue in horror. The two people attacked together, but were actually knocked back by Fu Hongxue's sword. You are not affected by our sword energy. There was surprise in the eyes of the two people. Fu Hongxue was silent. Just now, the sword beams collided, and the opponent's two energy flows rushed into his arms and into his body, but Fu Hongxue practiced the heaven and earth shifting great shift point in the heaven and earth yin and yang great compassion, and transferred the energy out. That weird sword energy is useless to me, Fu Hongxue said coldly. Seeing this, the two looked at each other, turned around, and prepared to flee, but at this time, Fu Hongxue moved his feet, and his figure appeared at the gate of the courtyard like a ghost. Whoever attacks will die. You can't leave here. Fu Hongxue looked at the two with cold eyes and said, kill. Seeing this, the two stepped on the ground, and the long swords in their hands burst out with brilliant black blade light again, and rushed towards Fu Hongxue. The murderous aura was pervasive. The other party was unwilling to let them leave alive. Then they fought with all their strength. Fu Hongxue moved his feet, and his figure disappeared from the spot like a ghost, avoiding the attack of the two. Fu Hongxue's King Gun was very powerful. Now he has cured his lame leg, and his body skills have become stronger. After the attack, his body shook, and turned into a stream of light, and went towards the two people. Then a knife light flashed. Although the knife light was very short, it was extremely fast, beyond the naked eye. Swish, swish. The person who attacked was still holding the long sword, but their upper and lower bodies had been cut in half by a knife. They looked at their chests. There was disbelief in his eyes. They were cut in half by a knife. Puff, blood spurted out from the wound. The two men's eyes were dull. The long swords in their hands fell to the ground, and their bodies also fell to the ground. In the courtyard, blood flowed from his arms. Song Lun, who looked at this scene, his eyes showing shock. He hit himself hard with a frontal attack, and was killed by Fu Hongxue with a knife. Of course, Song Lun, who was doing assassination, and his frontal skills were limited. Although he knew that Fu Hongxue was one of the 4 dragon heads of the Qinglang society, before, he thought that Fu Hongxue's strength was below Yan Shizhen, but now he saw that it was not the case. The Qinglang society is really strong. He could only think so in his heart. Clean up the bodies and tell us where they came from. Fu Hongxu's voice rang in Song Lunhu's ears. Song Lunhu came back to his senses at this moment. He looked at the bodies on the ground, stepped forward to investigate, and after a careful investigation, his expression became solemn, and the corpse powder appeared in his hand, and the bodies of the two people were disposed of. He grabbed the two long swords left behind, and walked into the courtyard hall. In the hall, Yan Shizhen leaned against a wall pillar. Yi Guchen and Zeman Chuksu sat opposite each other with a chessboard in front of them. Fu Hongxu sat cross-legged. The scene surprised Song Lunhu a little. 4 dragon heads. These two people may be from the Xianjian division. The assassins who were recently invited to participate in the siege of the Emperor's master may be them. Song Lunhu said. People from the Xianjian division? To attack us at this time, and only send 2 people like this? Fu Hongxu frowned slightly. Just now, the 2 people's sword energy was just a little strange. They were not the real top-notch sea concentrated masters, otherwise they would not have been killed by him in one blow. Chapter 690 to Song Lunhu, the leader of the Qinglang Society. A lot of people have been killed recently, but none of them are top-notch sea concentrated masters. It should be that the Xianjian division is clearing out some people accordingly, but I don't understand the meaning of their doing so. Song Lunhu said in a deep voice. Compared with Yan Shizhen and the others, Song Lunhu knew more. He actually didn't expect that he would become the target of the cleanup. This plan to encircle and kill the Emperor's master is mysterious. I feel like we have become someone else's pawns. Song Lunhu said in a deep voice. It doesn't matter whether we are pawns or not. It's normal for us to kill people and be killed. As long as we kill the Emperor's master, the evil alliance will need to take out the falling god Pearl. Fu Hongxu said calmly. Compared with others, the 4 of them came here just to kill the Emperor's master and want to see the strength of the top masters of the great Zhao dynasty. Of course, they also know that the plan of the evil alliance this time is aimed at Zenwu Garden. However, the plan of the evil alliance has nothing to do with them. The only target of the 4 of them is the Emperor's master. Hearing Fu Hongxu's words, Song Lunhu was stunned. He didn't expect Fu Hongxu, the 4th dragon leader of the Qinglang Society, to look at this matter in this way. But there was no way to refute it. The evil alliance invited them. They can choose not to come, but if they come, they should not be afraid of life and death. Of course, many of them are thinking of taking advantage of the troubled waters. They want to take advantage of the opportunity to kill the Emperor's master to become famous. As long as they participate in this matter, they will become famous in the world of Dazhao. No matter what kind of killer, organized or unorganized, they all hope to become famous. Without fame, who will look for you to kill? As for the unknown killers, who will look for you? Killers also need to look at fame. Fame itself is a kind of affirmation of strength. I'm sorry to trouble you this time. I will leave here. I believe that they will not come to disturb the 4 of you. Your hiding skills are good. I wonder if you have any idea to become a helmsman of my Qinglang Society. Fu Hongxu looked at Song Lunhu and said. Fu Hongxu is one of the 4 dragon heads of Qinglang Society, and recruiting soldiers for Qinglang Society is also one of his responsibilities. Although Song Lunhu is just an ordinary sea concentrated strongman, he has good concealment skills and is a good killer. It is not bad for him to join the Qinglang Club. If before, a strong man like Song Lunhu could become the whole master by joining the Qinglang Club, but now it is not possible. He can only become one of the helmsmen. Join the Qinglang Club? Song Lunhu was slightly stunned. He got the news recently. Li Zunhun, the 2nd dragon head of the Qinglang Club, appeared in Jiangnan. With a flying knife, he killed Brahmami of Wusheng. Wusheng is one of the 3 major killer organizations in Jiangnan. Brahmami is the leader of Wusheng. His strength is unquestionable, otherwise he would not have become the leader of the 3 major killer organizations in Jiangnan. The opponent killed Brahmami with 1 knife, which shows how powerful Li Zunhun is. He has come into contact with the Qinglang Club and found that they are really strong. Especially when he knew that Yan Shizhen was only one of the 10 great sword masters, he was shocked. If he had just heard about it, he would not believe it, but he saw it and came into contact with it. Yi Guchen and Zeman Chuksu are also the 10 great sword masters. They are extremely strong in swordsmanship and are definitely the top sea level spiritual masters. If they can join the Blue Dragon Society, it will be a great opportunity for him, Song Lun-Hu, but he has his own killer organization, Reincarnation Dao, and he is unwilling to join the Blue Dragon Society. Just like that. Joining the Blue Dragon Society is your opportunity. You should seize it. At this time, Yan Shizhen spoke. Hearing Yan Shizhen's words, Song Lun-Hu, who was a little hesitant in his heart, no longer hesitated, and immediately nodded in agreement. I'm willing to lead my Reincarnation Dao to join the Blue Dragon Society and become a helmsman of the Blue Dragon Society. Song Lun-Hu is very courageous. He agreed to join the Blue Dragon Society and was willing to bring the killer organization he led into the Blue Dragon Society. Okay, from today on, you will be a helmsman of my Blue Dragon Society, Fu Hongxue said. Fourth Dragon Chief, who do I obey? Where is the area I'm responsible for? Song Lun-Hu asked with concern. You only obey me. You can choose any place, except Jiangnan and the 9 northern counties, because the Qinglang Society has not arranged personnel in these places. Fu Hongxue said. I want to be in charge of the Huoyuan area. Song Lun-Hu said. In the Huoyuan area, there seems to be someone from the young dragon chief. I will report to the young dragon chief and wait for his reply. Fu Hongxue said, after thinking for a moment. Report to the young dragon chief. Hearing this, Song Lun-Hu's expression moved slightly. Report and negotiate are two different words. Report is the opposite of the upper. Fu Hongxue is one of the 4 dragon heads of the Qinglang Society, but he has to report to the young dragon chief. This made him feel confused and strange. He knew that Su Chen, the young dragon chief of the Qinglang Society, had captured Zhuang Zhuangji, killed Zhuang Mingfen, and occupied the Zhuang family bank. It was rumored that this person was ruthless and did things by any means. Fu Hongxue seemed to see the other party's doubts and said, the young dragon chief is not just the young dragon chief. Respecting him will be good for you. Fu Hongxue didn't say much, but it clearly pointed out that Su Chen was not ordinary. Could it be that Su Xiaolan is? Song Lun-Hu thought in his heart. In this world, there are people above Xianmen, and some descendants of powerful forces of Xianmen sometimes appear here. It is rumored that Qian Junmo, the eldest disciple of the owner of Zhenwu Garden, is one of them. Lan Yuhao, who is named after Qian Junmo, is also rumored. It is estimated that Fu Hongxue's int is also the same. It must be said that sometimes, people's own brains and imaginations are endless. I'm waiting for the reply from Xiaolang Xiao. Song Lun-Hu said. Now he doesn't have to leave, and he doesn't have to be afraid of the Xianjian division. He can wait here with the other 4 people until the full moon on the 15th day. At this time, in another Zhenwu garden, in a quiet courtyard, a man in black quickly walked into a room. General manager. The man in black entered the room and bowed to the person sitting in the chair in the room. The person on the chair was Qin Jueyuan from Zhenwu garden. Have you found out who made the move? Who is it? Qin Jueyuan asked in a very calm tone. According to the clues, it should be the people of Xianjianxi who did it, but they didn't encounter the top C concentrated masters, so it seems that they just warned them. The visitor bowed and replied. It's a bit strange. Zhu Pingsheng took action at this time. It's a bit strange. Is it false news that Emperor Zhao will break through on the 15th of the full moon? Qin Jueyuan frowned. It shouldn't be false. Recently, many masters in the court have gathered in the palace. So many masters gathered, it must be to protect the safety of the palace. The visitor said in a deep voice. I hope it will be so. Continue to investigate. And what are the recent movements of Taizong Tang and Yao Yu of Xian'an Pavilion? When talking about Xian'an Pavilion, Qin Jueyuan's eyes revealed a cold murderous intent. One of his arms was done by the people of Xian'an Pavilion. Taizong Tang has never left Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower, and Yao Yu has never left Jinqiangang. The affairs of Jinqiangang are handled by Shangguan Jinhang. After taking down Jinqiangang, Shangguan Jinhang restored his original appearance and led Jinqiangang. Chapter 693 Qin Jueyuan oppresses Evil Alliance, Heishan. It seems that their target is also the Imperial Master on the 15th day of the full moon. Qin Jueyuan said in a cold voice. He waved his hand to let the black-clothed man leave. The black-clothed man bowed and retreated. Kim Ju-eun came to the window with his hands behind his back and said, "Evil Alliance, do you have a deal with Chyanaya Pavilion? To deal with the Imperial Master, if it is just a reward for invisible benefits such as the Falling God Pearl, the powerful forces will not take action. Zenwu Garden is willing to take action because Evil Alliance has paid a high price. In addition, after killing the Imperial Master, they will give the Falling God Pearl, so Zenwu Garden will take action. Only when there is a force taking the lead will followers appear, so that the momentum can be raised and more powerful people will gather. Otherwise, if there are no powerful people who come forward, the powerful people who follow the trend will not appear. It seems that I have to go to see He, the second leader of Evil Alliance," Kim Ju-eun said in his heart. Evil Alliance must know about Chyanaya Pavilion when they trade with Chyanaya Pavilion. Otherwise, Evil Alliance would not trade with Chyanaya Pavilion. He wants to learn more about Chyanaya Pavilion from Evil Alliance. Knowing yourself and knowing your enemy will ensure victory in every battle. The last time he looked down on Chyanaya Pavilion, he was ambushed and had his arm cut off. In addition, the protest by Taizan Tang blocking the door damaged the reputation of Zenwu Garden. So when he makes a move again, he must deal a heavy blow to the other party. Perhaps after the siege of the Emperor's Master, it is an opportunity to attack them. Kim Ju-eun's eyes emitted a cold murderous intent. Another place in a small manor. He Yisheng, dressed in black, looked at the secret letter in his hand. His brows frowned slightly. This Kim Ju-eun is looking for me at this time. Does he want to regret it? After thinking for a moment, He Yisheng walked out of the manor and headed out of the city. A few hours later, outside the city, in a dilapidated Buddhist temple, He Yisheng, wearing a mask, landed in the hall. The hall seemed a little dim. He Yisheng looked around with a vigilant look in his eyes. He Yisheng, you don't have to be so wary of me. The owner of the garden agreed to cooperate with you, Evil Alliance. We Zenwu Garden have already received the initial rewards from you, Evil Alliance. We will naturally do what we promised you. What's more, our owner still needs the Falling God Pearl, so the cooperation will not be affected in any way. Kim Ju-eun's figure walked out from the dark and said, Kim Ju-eun, why did you contact me at this time? Hearing this, He Yisheng said in a deep voice, I came to ask you about the news of Chyanaya Pavilion, and to make a deal with you. After the battle with the Emperor Master, you, Evil Alliance, will help us, Zenwu Garden, to encircle Yaoyu and Taizan Tang of Chyanaya Pavilion. As long as you help us kill these two people, we, Zenwu Garden, don't need the rest of the reward, except for the Falling God Pearl. Kim Ju-eun said, are you trying to drag us, Evil Alliance, into your battle with Chyanaya Pavilion? Hearing this, He Yisheng said in a deep voice. His heart sank. He didn't expect Kim Ju-eun to come here to fight with them, Evil Alliance, against Taizan Tang and Yaoyu of Chyanaya Pavilion. These two are the deputy pavilion masters of the two pavilions of Chyanaya Pavilion. Encircling and killing them is the official start of the war. He Yisheng said in a deep voice. Their death has nothing to do with us. They died at the hands of the Imperial Master. Encircling and killing the Imperial Master, being killed by the Imperial Master, isn't this a very normal phenomenon? Kim Ju-eun said. I need to go back and discuss this matter. Chyanaya Pavilion was contacted by the three alliance leaders. He Yisheng said. Don't you have the final say on this matter? He Yisheng, we, Zenwu Garden, will cooperate with you with sincerity, as long as you take action to plot against Taizan Tang of Chyanaya Pavilion. The other two will have no choice but to cooperate with us. Kim Ju-eun suddenly said in a cold voice. Hearing Kim Ju-eun's words, He Yisheng's expression changed. Kim Ju-eun, what do you mean? When He Yisheng spoke, he moved his feet so that he could leave as soon as he encountered a problem. I made it very clear that you must do this. I have a 7 turns heartbreak pill in my hand. You can take it. This will ensure that you will take action. 7 turns heartbreak pill. Within 7 days, if there is no antidote, it will rot the intestines of the poisoned person. You. He Yisheng didn't expect Kim Ju-eun to have such a plan. He originally moved his feet, and with a force, his body moved towards the door of the hall. But at this moment at the door of the hall, A figure walked out. It was the ascetic with the fist-sized Buddhist beads. He Yisheng, you have no choice. Either you take the 7-turn heartbreak pill yourself, or we help you take it. Qixingqiu looked at He Yisheng and said. He Yisheng's eyes condensed. He kicked the ground with his feet and rushed towards Qixingqiu. No matter what, he had to leave the hall first. When he approached Qixingqiu, the soft sword on his waist was unsheathed in an instant. The gorgeous sword light suddenly appeared, and the sword energy erupted in the sword light. He Yisheng is a master of magic and has never used a sword before. This time, he also showed some trump cards. If he was really forced to take the 7-turn heartbreak pill, the face of the evil alliance would be completely lost. The sword energy was violent, like a storm, sweeping Qixingqiu. Qixingqiu's face changed slightly. He didn't expect that He Yisheng would have such a violent swordsmanship. The swordsmanship revealed an indescribable sharpness. Sky dome covering see-through skill. Qixingqiu shouted in a low voice, his eyes flashing like lightning, and the blood and energy in his body burst out at the same time. The terrifying blood and true energy burst out from his body, forming a terrifying airwave that enveloped the entire area at the entrance of the hall. He would not let He Yisheng have a chance to leave. The Qigong appeared, and his palm stretched out. A punch was thrown. The punched fist collided with the whistling wind and the sweeping sword energy. Bang! The two forces collided, forming a stream of air that instantly went around. The two bodies retreated at the same time. But when He Yisheng, who was retreating, stepped on the ground, his body shot out, trying to rush out of the Buddhist temple. But at this time, Qin Juan, who was in the temple, made a move. He kicked the ground with his foot and grabbed He Yisheng with his left hand. The speed was so fast. He Yisheng instinctively stabbed with the long sword in his hand. Qin Juan, who made a move, did not care about facing the sharp sword light in his hand. With a clang, sparks burst out in his palm. He Yisheng's expression changed. He forgot one thing, that is, Qin Juan's left hand was disabled, and now this left hand is not a real hand. Just at this moment, Qin Juan grabbed the long sword in He Yisheng's hand with his palm and exerted force. The terrifying force pulled He Yisheng's body over. In a hurry, He Yisheng slapped out with his palm. Divine power, blood demon hand. He Yisheng let go, and his other palm instantly slapped out, bombarding Qin Juan's chest. Chapter 694, 9-turn heavenly demon, 9th level, swallowing, 7-turn heartbreak pill. The palm of his hand turned bloody. Boom. But when the palm touched Qin Juan's body, it was blocked by a terrifying energy. His body was shaken and retreated several steps, looking at Qin Juan in horror. Your strength. I also thank Cheyenne Pavilion. If it weren't for them, I'm afraid I wouldn't have practiced 9 turns heavenly demon art to the last level. Qin Juan said coldly. While speaking, the hand holding the soft sword exerted force and directly crushed the soft sword into a ball of scrap metal and threw it aside. He Yisheng, you have no choice. Qin Juan said coldly. Qin Juan, you are offending my evil alliance by doing this. He Yisheng's face was extremely gloomy. You evil alliance need us to help you deal with the Emperor Master. With the strength of your evil alliance, it is impossible to deal with the Emperor Master. Even if your evil alliance leader is extraordinary, it is impossible to kill the Emperor Master. Qin Juan looked very calm. With so many people taking action, it's still possible without you Zhen Wuyan. He Yisheng said. It's not easy to be the first one to stand out. Don't talk so much nonsense to me. You have no choice today. While Qin Juan was speaking, he raised his hand and attacked He Yisheng. Seeing this, He Yisheng immediately punched, but when his fist collided with the opponent's fist, Qin Juan's power was like a landslide and tsunami, and the power of crushing, withering, and rotten poured into his arm. If the opponent hadn't left some strength, I'm afraid his meridians would burst instantly. But this power still made him seriously injured and spit out blood. When he opened his mouth and spit out blood, the 7 turns heartbreak pill in Qin Juan's other hand flew out and fell into his mouth. Then Qin Juan landed in front of He Yisheng. He covered the opponent's mouth with his palm and forced He Yisheng to swallow the 7 turns heartbreak pill. Then he released his hand covering He Yisheng. He Yisheng, who was released, wanted to spit out the 7 turn heartbreak pill. The useless heartbreak pill will dissolve in your mouth and turn into worm eggs, which will attach to your intestines. If there is no antidote within 7 days, they will dissolve your intestines. Don't even dream of getting the antidote. This 7-turn heartbreak pill was made by me specifically for you. The antidote is with me. Don't even think of having someone make the antidote for you in a short time. Even the poison master can't do it in a short time. You just need to make a move secretly that day, and I believe you will choose us, Zenwu Garden. Kim Ju-eun said, and walked out of the Buddhist temple with Kyuxing-cho. Outside the Buddhist temple. Do you think Yishin will help us? Kyuxing-cho said in a deep voice. This is just one of the steps, just a precaution. It doesn't matter whether it succeeds or not. Kim Ju-eun said in a deep voice. Let's go separately and meet at Zenwu Garden. After saying that, he didn't stay here and left quickly. Kyuxing-cho walked in another direction. Inside the main hall of the Buddhist temple, Yishin's face turned ferocious. He didn't expect Kim Ju-eun to dare to plot against him. Kim Ju-eun, Zenwu-eun, I will definitely avenge this. Yishin's tone was filled with murderous intent. After speaking, he turned and left quickly. After Yishin left, a black figure walked out of the dark, looked at Yishin who was leaving, frowned slightly. Then he left quickly. Not far from the Buddhist temple, in a forest, Kim Ju-eun was standing, sensing the figure coming, and asked in a deep voice, after I left, what was Yishin's reaction? General Manager, Yishin swore to kill you and avenge this, and didn't say much else. The man in black replied. Yishin's strength is average, not an important person. The important one is the Evil Alliance leader. This person is very powerful and needs attention. Kim Ju-eun said in a deep voice. Keep staring at Yishin, and you must find a way to find out who the third leader and the leader are. Kim Ju-eun said and turned and left. Late at night. The moon is dark and the wind is high. Yishin returned to the manor in the city. He came to a secret room, then opened a secret passage and left. He was ambushed by Kim Ju-eun, and he needed to inform Kajing and the others about this. He didn't know how far he walked, but Yishin walked out of a secret passage. Then he walked into an ordinary courtyard, entered another secret passage, and went to the secret room of Kajing's mansion. When he walked into the secret passage, a black shadow appeared in the courtyard. After checking it out, he quickly left. In the secret room, Emperor Wu Hao was sitting cross-legged in it, practicing his own ki. When he sensed the appearance of Yishin, he retracted his own ki and opened his eyes. Your breath is disordered. How are you injured? Emperor Wu Hao asked in a deep voice. Kim Ju-eun asked me out. I was injured by Kim Ju-eun, and he also gave me the 7 turns heartbreak pill. If there is no antidote within 7 days, my intestines will be melted. They want me to sneak attack the people of Cheyenne Pavilion and want to kill the 2 vice pavilion masters of Cheyenne Pavilion, Taizong Tang and Yao Yu, after besieging and killing the Emperor's master. Yishin informed Emperor Wu Hao of what happened today. This Kim Ju-eun actually wants to use the Evil Alliance. Emperor Wu Hao's eyes turned cold. He raised his palm to check Yishin's injuries and the 7 turns heartbreak pill in his body. After checking, his brows frowned slightly. Kim Ju-eun attacked you and held back. Your injuries are not serious. But I didn't detect the poison. Kim Ju-eun's poisoning method is not ordinary. I'm afraid you need someone behind you to help you detoxify. Emperor Wu Hao's eyes suddenly condensed when he spoke. Not good. This place may have been exposed, and Kajing's identity may be guessed by the other party. Emperor Wu Hao said in a deep voice. Hearing Emperor Wu Hao's words, Yishin seemed to have thought of something. His face also sank. Good tricks. Really good tricks. We underestimated Kim Ju-eun. Emperor Wu Hao sighed. While they were talking, Kajing walked in from outside. The spies from Zenwu Garden appeared outside my mansion. Did they notice something? After Kajing came in, he spoke, but when he saw Yishin's expression, he was stunned. What happened? Kajing asked in a deep voice. Kim Ju-eun calculated. Yishin told what happened today again. It seems that, just as Emperor Wu Hao said, they discovered my identity. The spies showed up, actually just to show me. This is to tell me that they know my identity. Kajing said in a cold voice. It doesn't matter if they know. We have what they need. Let's continue the cooperation. As long as they take action this time, Qin Zhuoyuan will die. The capitals, Zhenwu Garden, will be destroyed. They want the things of Zhenwu Garden, and they have already cooperated with Xian'ai Pavilion to destroy Zhenwu Garden. But now the intention to destroy it is even stronger, and the killing intent is stronger. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 695. The full moon is coming. The prince moves. Zhenwu Garden in the main hall. You mean He Yishan might have entered Keijing's mansion? Qin Zhuoyuan asked with a stern look in his eyes. It should be correct. My subordinate deliberately showed up in Kei's mansion, and then according to the spies in Keijing's mansion, after Keijing knew that my subordinate showed up, he disappeared for a while. The man in black said. According to your calculation, is this Keijing the third leader or the great leader of the evil alliance? Qin Zhuoyuan said. It should be just the third leader. The great leader of the evil alliance has taken action once, and his strength is very strong. It is definitely not Keijing, and it is extremely terrifying. The man in black shook his head. Is that so? I didn't expect Keijing to be the third leader of the evil alliance. So, they attacked and killed the emperor's teacher, just to cause chaos in the capital. The capital is in chaos, the rivers and lakes are in chaos, and the world will be turbulent. Qin Zhuoyuan said here, his eyes flashed. The martial arts masters in the rivers and lakes want a chaotic world. Only in this way can they become the overlord of one side, instead of being suppressed by Emperor Zhao. No need to monitor them anymore. We have already got the news we want to know. They should know what to do. Now just wait. 3 days later, the moon will be full on the 15th. Qin Zhuoyuan's eyes flashed. Another place. Outside the eldest prince's mansion. A figure in a black robe appeared and walked into the eldest prince's mansion with a token in his hand. When the soldiers guarding the mansion saw the token, they saluted without any obstruction. The other party was very familiar with the eldest prince's mansion. Soon they came to the eldest prince's study. The lights were on in the study. The eldest prince seemed to know that someone was coming and was waiting. After the black-robed man came in, he took off the black hat on his head. It was Taibao Nanjinlan. I will not be able to leave the palace tomorrow. I came here today just to tell you that no matter what happens on the 15th day of the full moon, you must not move, and your people must not move either. Stay in the mansion. After the 15th, the position of the crown prince will be decided. At that time, it will be the time for you princes to fight for the position of the crown prince with all your strength. At that time, I'm afraid it will be extremely tragic. I came to tell you in advance, so that you can be prepared. After Nanjinlan finished speaking, he put on his cloak, turned around and left without staying here. The eldest prince looked at the leaving figure, his eyes shining. Although my father doesn't know your intention, this world has always been a strong one. The position of the crown prince must be mine. The eldest prince's eyes exuded strong confidence. After waiting for so many years, although the 9 emperors were in power before, their powers were greatly restricted. Once the crown prince is confirmed, his majesty will go into seclusion. Then the crown prince will be the ruler of the great Zhao dynasty. Brother, what do you think we should do next? A young man in purple clothes, with a smile on his face and a handsome temperament, walked in from the back of the study. The one who calls the eldest prince big brother and has such a close relationship with him can only be the eldest prince's half brother, the 15th prince Liuiui, who is 3 years younger than him. The 3 giants of the army are all my father's confidants, and no one can infiltrate the military. What we can do is to win over other important officials of the court and the dominant forces in the martial arts world. The secret sect that supported me before no longer supports me because of the Qinglang Temple. In the past few years in Jiangnan, my power has been suppressed by the other princes, and there are very few people in Jiangnan who support me. So I have to find new supporters in the martial arts world. I wanted to choose Bu Yongxiu from the Xiangshi League in Lingjiang area before, but Bu Yongxiu died. The current ruler of Lingjiang area is Guan Yushan, the general envoy of Xian'ai Pavilion. I want you to go to Lingjiang area and contact Guan Yushan and strive to cooperate with Guan Yushan. The eldest prince said. Brother, aren't you taking the long way out? The Grand Protector has been protecting the Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower for a while. Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower belongs to the northern pavilion of Cheyenne Pavilion. We can start this matter from Golden Wind and Drizzle Tower. What's more, it is rumored that General Wang Duguari, my son, may have died at the hands of Guan Yushan. If we contact Guan Yushan, I'm afraid we will offend General Wang. The 15th Prince Liuiui said. Taizan Tang and Yao Yu appeared in the capital. They have something to do. It's not suitable for us to contact them. You will understand after the 15th day. As for General Wang, he is too ambitious and will become the enemy of all of us princes. Since he is an enemy, it is right for us to choose his enemy. The enemy of the enemy can become an ally. The eldest prince seemed to know something, but he didn't elaborate. The 15th Prince Liuiui didn't ask, nodded and said, then I will leave the capital tomorrow and go to the Lingjiang area. Thank you for your hard work this time. The eldest prince patted Liuiui on the shoulder. Brother, you are the eldest son. The position of the crown prince is originally yours. Others should not compete for it. Liuiui said coldly. Brother, the Green Dragon Society has been very famous in the martial arts world recently. Can you ask them to eliminate the other princes? Suddenly Liuiui thought of something and couldn't help but speak. Don't have such thoughts for the time being. Although the emperor allows us to compete, he will not let us kill each other. You have a strong desire to kill. This is not a good thing. The eldest prince said. Brother, it's not that I have a strong desire to kill, but once this matter is decided, there is no guarantee that they will have a desire to kill. The 15th prince said in a deep voice. Don't take that step unless it is absolutely necessary. But you must be careful when you leave the capital. Now that the emperor is in seclusion, the martial arts world is a little chaotic. It can't be the same as before. The eldest prince ordered. I don't know what the emperor is doing. Why does he allow these martial arts forces to stir up again? They should all be suppressed and killed. The 15th prince complained. Father has his own intentions, which we cannot guess. We just need to proceed step by step and move forward steadily. Otherwise, we may lose everything if we make a mistake. The eldest prince said in a deep voice. Brother, don't worry, I will be careful. I will go back to the mansion and leave the city early tomorrow morning. After the 15th prince left, he quickly left the mansion of the eldest prince. This night, not only the eldest prince was moving, but also some other princes began to exert their strength, sending people to leave the capital. Before the 15th, there was no force to contact. The masters from these forces aimed to kill the imperial teacher. The Prince of Dazao sent people to leave the capital, and some martial artists from the rivers and lakes came secretly. They wanted to see the scene of the battle. Outside the city, in a remote courtyard, a flying bird appeared on Fu Hongxu's shoulder. Fu Hongxu took out a note from the bamboo tube on the sole of the bird's foot. The content of the note was very simple. On the 15th day of the full moon, black haze will gather in the valley outside the city and will surround and kill the emperor's master. This is the message sent by the Evil Alliance, and they will take action after the 15th day of the full moon. Chapter 696. The capital. The storm is coming. Everyone is calculating their own plans. Zhenfengxi Lao. In a room similar to a study, Taizan Tang was standing in the middle of the study, and the blood-red flag was placed aside by him. Behind Taizan Tang stood Bei Chaofi. Both of them stood by the window of the room, looking at the street downstairs. After the battle with the Imperial Master, no matter what the result is, I'm afraid the whole great Zhao martial arts world will start to be in chaos. Your Zhenfengxi Lao has not made much progress in intelligence now. Taizan Tang said. It is not much progress, but I have almost completed the layout of the capital. Now I have secret guards in the mansions of officials of all sizes in the court. The enemy of the master may eventually be the great Zhao dynasty. I just need to gradually control the information of these people. I will apply to the master for the intelligence in the martial arts world to connect with the Qinglang society later. Bei Chaofi said. Although Su Chen gave a lot of financial support, the deployment of a large number of secret guards, the development and increase of personnel, the cost is very huge. It is impossible to rely solely on the profits of Jinfengxi Lao. I will talk to Palace Master Yao Yu. The capital will still be led by you, Shangwen Jinhong, and Miran Fu. Now that the three of you have joined forces, I believe that you can develop stably, Taizan Tang said. Taizan Tang agreed with Bei Chaofui's shift of focus to the officials of the Great Zhao dynasty. Judging from the current situation, the strongest is still the Great Zhao dynasty. Footsteps sounded outside the door. Nalan Rangan walked in. Deputy Pavilion Master, Building Master, this is a secret note from the Evil Alliance, inviting you and Deputy Pavilion Master Yao Yu to gather in the Black Haze Valley outside the city on the 15th day of the full moon. Nalan Rangan repeated the content of the secret note. Okay, I got it. Taizan Tang nodded. Nalan Rangan did not stay here, and bowed and left. On the 15th day of the full moon, the Evil Alliance will take action against the Zhenwu Garden, but the Zhenwu Garden may also take action against our Xian'ai Pavilion. Golden Wind and Rain Tower and the Money Gang will be where they take action. Taizan Tang said. It is unlikely that Zhenwu Garden has not made any movement for such a long time, so it is possible that it will happen on the 15th day of the full moon when they go to the Imperial Master's mansion. The people of Zhenwu Garden may attack Jinfengxi Lao and Jinqian Gang. I understand. I will do everything with gang leader Shangwen to deal with Zhenwu Garden. Liu Sheng Piaoxu and Du and Xian'ai will be in my Jinfengxi Lao. Bei Chaofui said. Now that Qinglan Club is in the capital, the three great sword masters and one dragon leader will definitely go to the Imperial Master's mansion. Taizan Tang and Yao Yu of Xian'ai Pavilion will definitely go there as well. Shangwen Jinhong's own strength is comparable to that of the General Haze Han Ningxian, and with Liangxing and Jing Wuming, their strength is stronger than his Jinfengxi Lao. So he contacted Liu Sheng Piaoxu and Du and Xian'ai. With the help of these two people, his Jinfengxi Lao can also have the ability to fight a simple battle. If you can't win, you can retreat. Taizan Tang said in a deep voice. I understand. Bei Chaofui nodded. I'll go to the Jinqian Gang to meet up with Yao Yu. On the 15th day of the full moon, we'll go to the Black Haze Mountain outside the city together. Taizan Tang said. While speaking, he walked to the side of the Iron Blood banner and raised it. Turning around, he walked out of the room. Bei Chaofui sent Taizan Tang to the door, and only after Taizan Tang got on the carriage did he return to the pavilion. Nalan Rangan was standing in the room waiting for Bei Chaofui. The Pavilion Master, Deputy Pavilion Master Tai left, and we, Golden Wind and Rain Pavilion might. I know, there are arrangements. If we are really defeated, we will evacuate first. Bei Chaofui said in a deep voice. There are not many masters in the Golden Wind and Rain Pavilion, mainly because the strength of the Pavilion Master is a little weak. In the capital, only the top Haze Han concentration can make people afraid. I have to retreat these 2 days to deal with the full moon and the 15th day. You will focus on Zhenwu Garden and immediately warn Jinqian Gang if there is any movement. Bei Chaofui said. Zhenwu Garden, Qin Juan was sitting in the meeting room. In addition to him, Q Xingqiu, King Lao, and 2 others. One of them was wearing a blood red robe. Not only the clothes were blood red, but even the hair was blood red. The blood red aura was flowing around him. He looked like a middle-aged man with sharp eyes and a faint cold aura. The other man was also a middle-aged man, wearing gorgeous clothes. He looked about 40 years old. In his right hand, he held a long sword and faintly exuded a sharp sword aura. The Evil Alliance has invited us to go to the Imperial Master's mansion the day after tomorrow, after we gather at the Black Haze Mountain outside the city. Qin Juan said. Why is the Evil Alliance doing so many tricks? Isn't it better to do it separately? And they are killing together. The man with the knife said coldly. Brother Wei, the Imperial Master is not so easy to deal with. I'm afraid that we can't kill the Imperial Master alone. King Lao said. The man in brocade clothes holding the knife is called Wei Sandao. It's not that he only kills the enemy with 3 swords, but that his strongest sword does only 3 swords. If the enemy is not dead after 3 swords, it means that the opponent is stronger than him. He can only escape. Master King, I heard that the people from the Evil Alliance also invited Xian'ai Pavilion and Qinglang Society. The Qinglang Society didn't say anything. But this Cheyenne Pavilion has brought a lot of negative impact to our Zenwood Garden. I don't know how General Manager Kin plans to deal with Cheyenne Pavilion. At this time, the man in the bloodstained robe opened the way. The second leader of the Evil Alliance, He Yisheng, has been hit by my 7-turn heartbreak pill. After the battle with the Imperial Master, he will sneak attack Taizan Tang of Cheyenne Pavilion. As long as he makes a move, the other two people from the Evil Alliance will have no choice but to take action. When the time comes, we will surround and kill Taizan Tang and Yao Yu together. They can't leave the Imperial Master's mansion. Of course, this is just one step. Cheyenne Pavilion has Golden Wind and Rain Tower and Money Gang in the capital. When the time comes, I will also arrange people to go there and destroy them. In this way, I think many people will know the fate of those who are enemies of our Zenwood Garden. Qin Zhuan said. Hearing this, the bloodstained robe man showed surprise on his face. I didn't expect that General Manager Qin would make such an arrangement. But Cheyenne Pavilion is not simple. Who did you arrange to take action? The bloodstained robe man asked. Zhang Xiang and Dan Fang Wei took action. They stepped into the sea and concentrated their minds not long ago, but with the two of them each leading 2 ancient transformation sea experts, they should be able to massacre Cheyenne Pavilion and Golden Money Gang, Qin Zhuan said coldly. In this case, there will not be many masters left in Zenwood Garden. Hearing this, the brocade-clothed man with a knife said in a deep voice, with Wu Leo in charge, if there is an emergency, he can hold on until we get back. Qin Zhuan said, if Wu Leo takes action, there will be no problem. Hearing Qin Zhuan mention Wu Leo, the knife-holding man said, Chapter 697, Jing Wuming's 20-year enlightenment, Shangwen Jinhang's enlightenment of divine power. I want to kill the young leader of the Qinglang Society. In the Zhuangjia Manor in Jinling, Jiangnan, Su Chen has been staying in the collection room of Zhuang Mingfen in the past few days. Although Zhuangji brought some to Su Chen before, it was far inferior to Zhuang Mingfen's collection. The collection of the owner of the 3rd largest bank in the world is not ordinary. Su Chen has not left the treasure house of the Zhuangjia bank in the past 2 days. He stretched his waist. Su Chen smiled. This time he got 4 orange lottery cards in this treasure house. He pushed open the door of the treasure house and walked out. The sun was dazzling outside. Yuan Suan was outside the treasure house. The day after tomorrow is the full moon. What's going on in the capital? Su Chen asked. All the masters in the capital court have been transferred to the Imperial City by Emperors out to guard the Imperial City. There is no movement in the Imperial Master's mansion. It's just that the Heavenly Supervision Division sent 2 warriors who were concentrating their spirits in the sea to kill some assassins invited by the Evil Alliance. Song Lunhu of Reincarnation Path was also hunted down, but was rescued by the 4 dragon heads and persuaded to join our Qinglang Club and become a helmsman of our Qinglang Club. The area Song Lunhu wants is the Huayuan area. Yuan Suan said as he walked behind Su Chen. While the two were talking, they appeared in a pavilion. Inside the pavilion, some maids saw Su Chen and his friends, bowed and left. There were some fruits on the stone platform. Song Lunhu has the ability to concentrate his spirit in the sea, and his concealment skills are even better. Since such a person has chosen to join my Qinglang Club, he is indeed good. Cui Wuhu and the 5 poison boys are in the Huayuan area, but it doesn't matter. The Huayuan area can be given to Song Lunhu. When the time comes, the 5 poison boys and Cui Wuhu will be there, and we can also understand his situation. Although it is said that people should be trusted when they are employed, and people who are suspicious should not be employed, but Song Lunhu has just joined, and it is still necessary to observe for a while. I will inform the 4 dragon heads. Yuan Suan said. How is the situation in Jinling City? Has Zhuangji encountered any difficulties? Su Chen asked after sitting down. Jinling City has not changed yet, but some foreign banks may have some turmoil. After all, they don't know the specific situation. Yuan Suan said. Zhuang's bank is now my bank. If there are some unwillingness, replace it when it is time. If he is loyal to his father, let him live out his life in peace. If he is fickle and wants to have other ideas, then he doesn't need to live. Su Chen said coldly. Zhuangjia Bank was set up by Zhuang Mingfen. There are people who are loyal to Zhuang Mingfen. They don't know that Zhuang Mingfen has died a long time ago. They are loyal to Zhuang Mingfen. For such people, it is right to let them live out their days in peace. If they are villains with other thoughts, then being soft-hearted is a taboo. I will remind Miss Zhuang. Yuan Suan said. Pay attention to the situation over at Shengjian Lake and the specific dynamics of the full moon on the 15th day of the lunar month in the capital. The full moon on the 15th day will be the beginning of changes in the martial arts world of the Great Zhao dynasty. And how is the White Bone Master investigating in the Lai family? Su Chen occupied the Zhuangjia Bank, which moved the cheese of Dead Man's Tomb and Lai family. They should make some moves. I have contacted the leader Kao about this matter, and they are following up on this matter. The Lai family is in charge of the area, and the Beggars sect develops the area. Yuan Suan has contacted Kao Feng and asked him to investigate the Lai family. After all, Kao Feng's Beggars sect and the Lai family are in conflict. The Beggars sect has already gained some momentum in Jiangnan. We can contact Zhuangji and help her build up her connections in Jiangnan martial arts. Su Chen said. Zhuangji's connections in Jiangnan are not very good. We must help her build up some connections. In this way, those who have some small ideas in the money houses in various places will be more stable. After all, killing is a means, and deterrence is also a means. Yes, I will arrange this matter. Yuan Suan nodded. Didn't we get the news that Du Guiwei went to Lingjiang area? Why didn't we see him contacting Guan Yushan? Su Chen then thought of Du Guiwei. According to the route, Du Guiwei should be in Lingjiang area, or in Chiangsha city. General Envoy Guan has not found any trace of Du Guiwei yet. I guess Du Guiwei is waiting for the situation on the 15th day of the full moon in the capital. After the 15th day of the full moon, he may go to see General Envoy Guan. Yuan Suan replied, is that so? It seems that everyone in the martial arts world is waiting for the 15th day of the full moon. Is our Emperor Zhao breakthrough on the 15th day of the full moon? Su Chen murmured. Although the 15th day of the full moon was promoted by the Evil Alliance, it would probably not have happened if Emperor Zhao had not indulged. Su Chen stopped thinking about it because he couldn't figure it out. Then he remembered the 4 orange lottery cards he had obtained and drew them directly. 20 years of enlightenment after obtaining Jingwuming. 30 years of inner strength of the heavenly realm of Beichalfi, a bottle of heavenly man pill, 30 pill/bottle, and 1 Shangwen Jinhang divine power enlightenment card. Is this to increase the strength of Jingwuming, Beichalfi, and Shangwen Jinhang? But it's a pity that Mireng Fu's strength didn't increase. But Mireng Fu is hiding in the dark, so I'll send him a batch of Shanren pills. Su Chen thought to himself. 20 years after Jingwuming, he had a life experience after his arm was broken. At that time, he was the owner of the Nameless Inn. Although he was silent, his left-handed sword was more domineering, sharper and more weird. When a left-handed sword walks in the world, it must be a sword that takes a different approach. The moves are all reversed and more spicy and mysterious, making it hard to defend. Because many warriors use their right hands to attack, everyone will pay attention to the moves and strength. But when the left-handed sword moves, it is the time to bloom and the time to cut life. With these 20 years of insights, Jingwuming may be like Ah Fei, and he will become a terrifying sword master in one step. Ah Fei's sword is a fast sword, so he is called the world's fastest sword. Jingwuming's swordsmanship is spicy and weird, and even more cruel. Beichalfi's 30 years of heavenly inner strength will allow him to reach the level of Dunshan turning into sea, but as for whether he can comprehend the divine power, it is unknown. After all, when Beichalfi died, he was at most in his 30s. After all, he entered the capital at the age of 28. In ancient times, it was considered middle-aged, but Beichalfi's martial arts realm had not reached the peak. It may be difficult to comprehend the divine power. As for a dominant figure like Shangwen Jinhong, with a divine power comprehension card, I believe he should be able to comprehend the divine power. However, people like Shangwen Gang leader may only use the divine power comprehension as an auxiliary to condense a stronger divine power. Among these people, Perhaps Jing Wuming will be the most outstanding at that time. Su Chen murmured. Killing people, no matter what. Jing Wuming is still fast and cruel. While Su Chen was thinking about these things, a man wearing a hat and a mask came to the stronghold of the black market, other shore, in Jinling City. He was received by a hunchbacked old man. A green token appeared in the hand of the masked man. The hunchbacked old man saw the token and his eyes moved slightly. Please. Then he led the man in black into a secret room. I want to see the leader of your other shore. The man in black said. Killing people, entrusting tasks, I can help you complete it. The hunchbacked old man said. The people I want to kill are the young dragon leader of the Qinglang Society and Zhuangzi. Are you sure you can make the decision? The man in black said in a deep voice. Chapter 698 Jiangbi Huo Family, Red Sun Palace, Other Shore, Nangang Family. The hunchbacked old man's expression changed when he heard this. I know your leader is in the black market. Please ask your leader. I think he will meet me. The man in black robe said in a deep voice. Please wait a moment. The hunchbacked old man pondered for a moment, bowed and left the room. After a while, 3 figures walked in. In addition to the hunchbacked old man, there were 2 more, the leader of which was a middle-aged man in a dark red robe. The man's face was slightly pale, his eyebrows were condensed, and his eyes were filled with a majesty that was not angry. His thin lips were pursed into a cold arc, which made people understand that this person was a ruthless leader. He was Teng Beichen, the leader of the 3 major killer organizations, the other shore. Another person was an old man with a thin face. His eyes were slightly closed, and he looked drowsy, but he exuded a terrifying aura, reminding everyone that this person was not simple. This is Yin Zuanshan, the deputy leader of the other shore, and Teng Beichen's most important deputy. You go down first. Yin Zuanshan waved his hand at the hunchbacked old man. The hunchbacked old man bowed and left, closing the door. Brother Huo, you have become the new head of the Huo family. How can you have time to come to the other shore? Teng Beichen sat opposite the black-robed man and said. Hearing Teng Beichen's words, Huo Washan took off his cloak and revealed his face. It was Huo Washan of the Jiangbi Huo family. The messenger should have told Chief Yu Teng what I said just now. The purpose of my coming this time is to ask you to kill King Lang Hu, Xiao Lang Tao Su Chen and Zhuangzi. You also know the news that my eldest brother and my nephew were killed some time ago. From the current situation, it was this pair of dogs and bitches who did it. Now my Jiangbi Huo family is being treated as a joke. Huo Washan's face showed a ferocious look. It's not just revenge, but also because Zhuangzi was the daughter-in-law of their Zhuang family before. But now she is colluding with Su Chen. This completely disregards the face of their Huo family. Their Huo family's face can be said to be completely lost. The Huo family is the largest Zhuang family in Jiangbi. This face is still necessary, so Su Chen and Zhuangzi must die. Brother Huo, Su Chen is the young leader of the Qinglang Society, and there is also the second leader Li Zunhuan who appeared in the Qinglang Society. His flying knife, I saw it in the dark that day, and I may not be able to dodge that knife. Teng Beichen said. The people who appeared last time. There are 2 people who made him pay attention. One is the double-edged swordsman under Su Chen. He is a person in the open. Although he is strong, he is not that threatening to him. But the second leader Li Zunhuan made him extremely afraid. When Li Zunhuan attacked, Fan Shai and me despised Li Zunhuan, and he also despised him. But after Li Zunhuan attacked with a flying knife and killed Fan Shai and me with one knife, he dared not despise him. He was not confident that he could dodge the knife. Brother Beichen, I didn't ask you to kill Li Zunhuan. I just wanted to kill Su Chen and Zhuangzi. This time, our Huo family is willing to give out 5 Yuang Suning pills that are unique to the Huo family and the favor that Bian owes us Suoji as Huang. And as long as Zhuangzi and Su Chen are killed, our Huo family can take over the Zhuang family bank openly, and we can give 30% of the profits of the Zhuang family bank. Huo Washan said in a deep voice. Hearing Huo Washan's words, Teng Beichen, the leader of Bian, changed his expression slightly. The Huo family's move this time was extraordinary. Favors. Bayan asked the Huo family for help once, so it owed a big favor. At that time, Bayan promised to help Huo Jiazhuang at all costs. Sometimes the world of martial arts is not just about fighting and killing, but also favors. For martial artists in the world of martial arts, in addition to loyalty, favors are the most difficult to repay. The Huo family took out such a favor, plus 5 Yuan Xuning pills. This Yuan Xuning pill is very precious. It can help Danshan Huahei warriors recover from injuries caused by failure to condense divine power when condensing divine power. That is to say, with this Yuan Xuning pill, they will have the opportunity to sprint for the second C condensation in a short time. Of course, the last item is even more tempting. The third largest bank in the world has 30% of the benefits. Huo Jiazhuang has shown enough sincerity. The requirement is not to kill Li Zunhun, the second leader of the Qinglang Society, but to kill Su Chen and Zhuang Zhuangji. This price is completely acceptable. Brother Huo, once you occupy the Zhuangjia Bank, the Qinglang Society will find you. At that time, I'm afraid that the Qinglang Society will target your Huo family. Teng Beichuan said in a deep voice. The other shore can be completely hidden, but the Huo family is in Jiangbi. Once retaliated, Huo Jiazhuang will have to bear the wrath of the Qinglang Society. The wrath of the Qinglang Society is not something that ordinary people can bear. At that time, Huo Jiazhuang will face great risks. Teng Beichuan said this because he wanted Huo Washan to think it over before making a decision. This is treating them as friends. Thank you, Brother Beichuan, for your concern. This matter was decided by my ancestor of the Huo family, otherwise I, the head of the family, would not be able to make the decision. 30% will be given to you, the other shore, 30% will be given to Nangang family, and 30% will be given to Red Sun Palace. My Huo family will only take 10%. I have already negotiated with Red Sun Palace, and only Nangang family is left. I believe that old guy Nangang Wentian will definitely want this 30% of the benefits. In this way, we will form a 4-family alliance. After Qinglang Society knows about it, can it suddenly become an enemy of our 4 major forces? Huo Washan said in a cold voice. Hearing Huo Washan's words, Teng Beichuan was stunned. He didn't expect Huo Washan to be so generous. I will consider this matter and give Brother Huo a reply within a day. Teng Beichuan said, after thinking for a moment. Okay, then I will go to see Nangang Wentian first to get my brother Beichuan's reply. Huo Washan stood up while speaking, put on his cloak again, and left the room. The hunchbacked old man waiting outside the door escorted Huo Washan away. Old Yin, do you think we should take action on this matter? Teng Beichuan said in a deep voice. Chief, this is an opportunity. Now the Green Dragon Society has overshadowed ours, the other shore, and the Kanmeng, and is looming to be the first of the 3 major assassin organizations. This has already affected ours, the other shore. If the Nangang family, the Red Sun Palace, and the Huo family are willing to take action, we can also take this opportunity to destroy the Green Dragon Society's base in the Jinling Black Market. Yin Zuanshan beside him said. It seems that we have the same idea. They want to kill Su Chen and Zhuang Zhuangji. We can take the opportunity to expand and attack the Qinglang Society. I will be unable to sleep or eat if there is such an opponent in front of us. But this matter cannot be done by us, Bayan alone. You go to see the leader of Kanmeng and try to bring him down as well. In this way, the 5 major forces will join forces, and if there are strong people from Qinglang Society coming later, they can also form an offensive and defensive alliance. Teng Beichuan's eyes flashed. Leader, what about the benefits? Give half of the benefits to the other party. I think the other party will be tempted. Teng Beichuan gave up half of the benefits. He believed that the leader of Kanmeng would agree to take action together. Chapter 699. Beautiful, cruel. Nangang family in a study room. Nangang Wentian had a solemn look on his face. His fingers kept tapping on the table and chair in front of him. Opposite him, Huo Washing, who was dressed in black, did not move his expression. He was waiting for Nangang Wentian's reply. killing Su Chen and Zhuang Zuangji. I'm afraid it doesn't require such actions. Nangang Wentian said in a deep voice. Of course, it's not worth it to fight Su Chen alone, but behind Su Chen is the Qinglang Society. The Qinglang Society has 3 dragon leaders Li Qinsao in the 9 northern counties, 4 dragon leaders Fu Hongsu, and 2 swordsmen in the capital, plus the 2nd dragon leader Li Zunhuan who is unpredictable with a flying knife, and the big dragon leader who has not appeared. This action is worth it. To be honest, if we use all the connections and forces of my HUO family, we may be able to fight the Qinglang Society head on, but the other party is a killer organization after all, and they will kill with one blow. Our HUO family can't stand it. But if the 4 families join forces, maybe Bayan will contact Kanmeng, and they don't want the Qinglang Society to suppress them. If the 5 families join forces, if the Qinglang Society is still rampant, then they can be surrounded and killed. Huo Washeng said. Hearing Huo Washeng's words, Nangang Wentian pondered. Finally, he said, the benefits of Sansheng's bankers are a bit small. Some industries of my Nangang family need to enter the JB area. Jiangnan and Jiangbai are 2 areas. Although the JB area is not as prosperous as the Jiangnan area, it is more prosperous than other areas. Although the Nangang family has encountered a bottleneck in its development, expanding to Jiangbai is a good idea. Hearing this, Huo Washeng's eyes condensed. The JB area is the base camp of their Huo family. Once the Nangang family enters the JB area, it will threaten their Huo family's status. This is the price my Nangang family has paid. If you can't make the decision, or don't want to, then forget it. Nangang Wentian said. I will send a letter to the ancestor about this matter, and wait for the ancestor's reply. After the ancestor agrees, I will come to see the head of the Nangang family again. Huo Washeng said in a deep voice. After speaking, he turned and left. The full moon day in the capital is approaching. After the full moon, I'm afraid that the great Zhao Jianghu will change. Mutual alliances may be a good choice. When Huo Washeng was about to walk out of the door, Nangang Wentian said. Huo Washeng stopped walking forward. Some forces have heard about the full moon on the 15th day. Whether it was the Zhao Emperor's breakthrough or the evil alliance, besieging and killing the Emperor's master, this was the beginning of a chaotic Jianghu. It was possible that Jianghu would change again, and it was possible that it would be more chaotic than when the Great Zhao dynasty was established. Nangang Wentian said this. It was also a sign of an alliance. I will report this matter to the ancestor. As Huo Washeng spoke, he stepped out of the study. In the study Nangang Wentian pondered for a moment, and then stepped out of the study. After a while, Nangang Wentian came to a place in the backyard. In the backyard, Nangang Qiushu and Nangang Yiren were in the courtyard. When they saw Nangang Wentian, they showed doubts on their faces, because Nangang Wentian looked very solemn, as if he had encountered a major event. Father, what happened? Nangang Qiushu said. How is the matter in the Paradise Palace handled? Nangang Wentian did not answer Nangang Qiushu's words, but talked about the Paradise Palace. There will be a new palace master coming to the Paradise Palace, and there will also be a young palace master. I know who the young palace master is, but I can't guess who the new palace master is. However, in recent times, I have intercepted half of the profits of the Paradise Palace, and sent all of them to the Nangang family's warehouse. The loss was caused by the Green Dragon Society some time ago. Don't worry, father, this matter will not be unexpected. Nangang Qiushu said. What do you think of Su Chen? Can he be used by my Nangang family? Nangang Wentian said. Impossible, although I don't have much contact with Su Chen, he is very arrogant. There should be some problems with the banker's affairs, but he didn't say anything. But let this rumor spread. This person has a strong state of mind, and will not be affected by other things. Could it be that the solemn expression of father has something to do with Su Chen? Nangang Qiushu said. Yes, it has something to do with Su Chen. The people from the Jiangbai Huo family came here, and wanted to join forces with me to attack Su Chen and Zhuang Zuangji. The head of the Huo family and the son of the head of the Huo family, Huo Xingchen, were assassinated. It might be Zhuang Zuangji who commissioned the Qinglang Society to do it. and not long after Huo Xingchen died, Zhuang Zuangji defected to Su Chen. The Huo family couldn't tolerate it, so they wanted Su Chen and Zhuang Zuangji to die. Nangang Wentian said, the Jiangbi Huo family, they should not just want to wash away the shame. Do they want to take over the Zhuang family bank? Nangang Qiushu said in a deep voice. Yes, they are willing to give us, Nangang family, 30% of the benefits, 30% to Red Sun Palace, 30% to the other shore, and keep 10% for themselves. The Huo family is so generous, they actually gave out so much benefits. Nangang Yiren, who was standing aside, said in surprise. They want to form an alliance to deal with the revenge of the Qinglang society. With these families putting pressure on the Qinglang society, the Qinglang society can only accept this matter with frustration unless it becomes an enemy of these major forces. Bian is definitely willing. He may find Kan Meng to join him. This will also cause the reputation of the Qinglang society, which has recently gained fame, to plummet. Father, what are you trying to do? Nangang Qiushu looked at Nangang Wentian. A daughter knows a father better than anyone else. Nangang Qiushu saw what his father Nangang Wentian was thinking. I propose that my Nangang family will enter Jiangbi and occupy some industries. If they agree, our Nangang family will take action. The principle of the aristocratic family is to see whether everything is beneficial to oneself. Previously, I thought about cooperating with Su Chen and the Qinglang society, but the benefits offered by the Huo family are completely more beneficial than cooperating with the Qinglang society. Hearing what Nangang Wentian said, Nangang Qiushu was silent. After the full moon in the capital, the martial arts world will change. If our Nangang family cooperates with Remnant Dream, the other shore, Red Sun Palace, and the Huo family in Jiangbi, we can completely cope with the changes in the martial arts world. Nangang Wentian said in a deep voice. What does father need me to do? Nangang Qiushu said. If the Huo family agrees to let our Nangang family enter the JB area, I hope you can enter the Zhuang family manor and check the masters who are the daily guards around Su Chen, and whether there are other masters of the Qinglang society guarding the Zhuang manor, especially the whereabouts of the second dragon leader Li Zunhun. Nangang Wentian said. Zhuang Zuangji surrendered to the Qinglang society, and the Qinglang society would definitely send masters to protect him, so the Zhuang family also needs to investigate. It seems that father is sure that the Huo family will agree to your conditions. For the Nangang family, I will go to investigate at that time, but Su Chen may go to Shengjian Lake with many Zuanshang recently. If we take action, it is best to take action on him on his way to Shengjian Lake. Nangang Qiushu said in a deep voice. Nangang Qiushu and Su Chen don't have much friendship. Moreover, when the new palace master of Paradise Palace comes, he may also confront the Green Dragon Society. It's best to do this after the new palace master of Paradise Palace arrives, so that Paradise Palace can be involved, and it would be best if the Green Dragon Society in the black market at Jinling City can also be destroyed, especially the second leader of the Green Dragon Society, Li Zunhun cannot leave Jinling alive. Nangang Qiushu's tone was calm, but it revealed a chill. Since you choose to do it, you must eliminate the troubles in the future. The second leader of the Green Dragon Society, Li Zunhun, is too terrifying. If Su Chen heard the conversation between Nangang and his daughter, he would sigh. Nangang Qiushu, she is beautiful enough, but her heart is cruel enough. Chapter 700, the full moon on the 15th day, the valley gathers, borrowing luck to step into the gate of heaven. The full moon was on the 15th day. In the capital, outside the Black Haze Mountain, two figures were standing quietly on a rock. They were wrapped in black robes, their faces were also covered in black and white, but their eyes were unusually sharp. Brother, I didn't expect that this evil alliance really invited so many people to come. One of them said. If there weren't so many people, you and I wouldn't have participated in this matter. As long as we get the Falling God Pearl, we can definitely sell it for a good price. Maybe you and I can use it to step into the sea and concentrate. The person next to him said. Brother, I always feel that this matter is weird. You said that the Imperial Master is the teacher of Emperor Zhao, but such a person was surrounded and killed. Could it be that Emperor Zhao was seriously injured when he broke through and his realm fell, and now he wants to break through again? The black-clothed man who spoke earlier said, I don't know. Emperor Zhao was the most powerful warrior in the world. He had countless strong men under his command. He suppressed the entire Zhao martial arts world so that the entire martial arts world dared not have the slightest intention of disobeying him. Such a person is not something we can guess. We just need to act according to the situation. First, see if we can take advantage of the opportunity. If we can't, we can take action against other people in the Imperial Master's mansion. There are a lot of treasures in the Imperial Master's mansion. It's worth our while to take away a few of them. The man called the eldest brother said, let's go in. Then he continued. However, when he needed to move his feet, he suddenly stopped and looked towards a valley. Not far away, two figures were slowly coming towards the valley. One man and one woman. The man had a tall body and carried a flag with a spear tip on his back, and the other was wearing a white long skirt with a high bun and a silver hairpin in his hair. His face was covered with white gauze, revealing a pair of unusually bright eyes, but his eyes were as cold stars. Who are they? The recently famous Southern Pavilion Vice Pavilion Master Yao Yu and Northern Pavilion Vice Pavilion Master Tai Zhang. I didn't expect that the Evil Alliance would invite them as well. What a grand event. Let's go. After saying that, the two of them quickly headed for the valley. Those two are very good at hiding. Yao Yu glanced at the place where the two had just been and said, the Evil Alliance has invited many good players this time, and we can also take this opportunity to see some of the martial artists in the martial arts world. Tai Zhang said. The two of them spoke in low voices, chatting as they walked towards the valley. As they walked forward, a weak gust of wind passed by them. It was a man in black clothes and a mask. He was very fast and had reached the valley entrance in the blink of an eye. He didn't pay any attention to Tai Zhang and Yao Yu and walked straight into the valley. Tai Zhang and Yao Yu walked slowly. They were observing the strength of the people coming. When a person is practicing or walking, he will carry his own aura so that he can sense the other person's strength. If a person is still there, hiding and restraining his own aura, it is difficult to detect his strength. Evil Alliance has gathered a lot of people this time. It is not clear whether they are enemies or friends, so we still need to investigate. Just when the two of them were walking forward, not far away, 5 figures rushed from one place with a terrifying aura. These people were wearing black cloaks and masks on their faces, so their faces and figures could not be seen clearly. But when the leader saw Tai Zhang and Yao Yu, a cold light flashed in the eyes exposed on the mask. But he did not stay and quickly led people to the valley. The leader has murderous intentions towards us. Maybe he is from Zenwood Garden. Yao Yu transmitted the voice. Let's go. Let's speed up. Tai Zhang and Yao Yu quickened their pace and headed towards the valley. At the entrance of the valley, an old man in a black robe was at the entrance of the valley. Please send out the invitation. The old man in the black robe said in a low voice. An invitation appeared in Tai Zhang's hand. The other party's eyes fell on the invitation and nodded. Please, bring the distinguished guests into the valley. A young man in a black robe came out and led Tai Zhang and the others into the valley. There was a simple small building that had just been built in the valley. The young man took Tai Zhang and Yao Yu to the small building. As for the valley, there were some people wearing masks and some without masks. These people exuded murderous intent. These people were not the main force in the battle, so they were not qualified to go to the small building. In the small building, King Lan Club, Fu Hongsu and others sat in one place, and the 5 people who had surpassed Yao Yu and the others were also in another place. At other tables, some people were sitting scattered. There were people wearing silver robes and silver masks. There were people wearing black robes hiding in the corners. There were also burly middle-aged men with ordinary faces. The auras emanating from these people were extremely terrifying. They were all powerful people who concentrated their minds in the sea. The Linoop was very powerful. In the center of the hall, a burly figure was sitting in the center, wearing a mask, and a sharp edge appeared in his eyes. Although he was sitting there, the aura he exuded was extremely terrifying. There were 2 figures standing behind him. One of them was Yisheng, who was not wearing a mask, and the other Kajing was wearing a mask. I'm the leader of the Evil Alliance. This time I invite you to come and deal with the Imperial Master. The reward has been agreed before, so I won't say much. The most important thing is the Luo Pearl, which is placed in the 7 Holes Linglang Pavilion. Whoever kills the Imperial Master, the 7 Holes Linglang Pavilion, will deliver the item to him. I don't have much credibility with the 7 Holes Linglang Pavilion. The leader of the Evil Alliance said. Yan Shizhen, who was closing his eyes at this time, suddenly sent a message to Fu Hongxue and others. This Evil Alliance leader is Emperor Wu Hao. Yan Shizhen felt a little familiar when he saw the evil energy leader. Now that the other party spoke, although his voice was a little hoarse, Yan Shizhen was sure that this person was Emperor Wu Hao. After all, Emperor Wu Hao had faked his death before, and Yan Shizhen had suspected it. Emperor Wu Hao. Fu Hongxue and others were not very surprised, but Song Lun, who was indeed very surprised. He didn't expect that the leader of the Evil Alliance in front of him would be Emperor Wu Hao. Leader, don't say too much, let's get going. We can't delay too long. The man in the silver robe said. Okay, let's get going. Those people outside, surround and kill the others in the Imperial Master's mansion. We will go straight to the Imperial Master and kill him today. Emperor Wu Hao stood up and said. Leader, I'm a little confused as to why you, Evil Alliance, want to attack the Imperial Master. A person hiding in the dark said. In this world, there is no need for forces and people like the Great Zhao Dynasty that suppress the entire martial arts world. As long as the Imperial Master dies and Emperor Zhao is in seclusion, the martial arts world of the Great Zhao Dynasty will be in turmoil. Isn't it a chance for people of our generation to obtain the luck of the martial arts world and step into the gate of heaven? The masked Emperor Wu Hao said. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.